I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Welcome back. Welcome back to another action-packed episode of Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life, and we are going to be hanging out together for about 3 hours of home gym-related fun. That sounded so Sesame Street. That's amazing. No, Mr. Rogers, right? I even almost have on a sweater. That's hilarious. All right. Anyway, like I said, this is Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. And on this show, we talk about fitness related content from a home gym perspective. We get your live reactions along the way so that, in effect, you guys are part of the show each and every Friday. And I'm grateful for all of you guys who show up every Friday and are, and contribute to the show. If, however, this is your first time being here, I appreciate you giving the show a chance. And I need you to hit the like button and hit subscribe for me so that we can get this thing going. That definitely will help the channel grow, and I really, really appreciate it. Now, first thing, let me tell you before you're like, well, why should I subscribe? I don't even know what's going to be on the show today. All right, I'll fix that. Let me go ahead and tell you that. I got that from Jason, man, who parks in gym. He does the pew, pew, pew. Okay, except I can't do that. I'm like, bang, bang. All right. Anyway, so let's just tell you what's on today's show. So first of all, we're going to have, in the first hour, we're going to have news and other things. We talk about home gym related news. And then at 6:45, we'll have a brand new Recliner of Rage. I'm going to tell you why I am mad this week. And then in the second hour, up to about 8:30. So that'll be 7 a.m. Eastern time. And he's going to be with us until about 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Trevor Greenberg from the Disgruntled PM podcast is going to join the show. He is not just a podcast host. He's also a home gym owner. And we're going to react and respond to home gym stuff. I'm also going to get Trevor's ideas about reaction to Home Gym Con. I'm going to get his, his suggestions about what he would do to improve Home Gym Con, and we'll just talk about that as well. So now that you know what's going on, now will you hit the like button and hit subscribe for me? And if you've already subscribed, do me a favor. I want to grow the channel memberships. That's one of the goals that we set for this year, is to grow our channel the number of people who are paid channel members. It's only 99 cents a month, but that definitely helps the show out. It not only helps us grow, it also, all that money goes back into the show, and you also get access to exclusive content that nobody else gets to see. We're going to actually talk about some of that content a little bit later on today, but that's it. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you have subscribed already and you want to support the show further, click the join button to support the channel. And all that money, like I said, goes back into, like right now, we're saving up for a different microphone, for example. All right, so now you know what's going on. You've hit the like button. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody who's in the live chat. So first guy here is my guy, Carlos from CBS TCR. He said, it's that time, rise and grind. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Man, you know I'm up, man. I was sending Carlos Instagram reel links at like probably 4 o'clock this morning. 4 o'clock this morning, because I got up, I saw them, and I thought they were funny, so I sent them to him. That's one of the downsides of me having your phone number. Okay, but I feel like they were funny, and he laughed, so it's good. All right, next up is the man himself, Trevor T-Dog 19. This is Trevor Greenberg. He's going to be on the show a little bit later on, but right now he's in the live chat hanging out. He says, "Get up, get out of bed." And Carlos said, T-Dog is already in the building. That's punctuality. That's what I'm talking about. Eric Echoes, what's up? Eric said, good morning, gentlemen. I'll watch until Trevor gets on. That's funny right there. Shots fired already. That's funny. You know who I don't see? I don't see Jared Martin. I hope everything's all good at La Casa de Martin. Jared's normally here by now. Let's see here. Yeah, hey, it was hoodlums from the... That was hilarious. The Kurt Locker has arrived. What's up? Says morning, gents. There you go. There you go. You can always tell somebody who's prior enlisted staff NCO. Yeah, you call everybody gents. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. All right. Appreciate you guys, everybody being here. So let's go ahead. Now we've got all that settled. We know what's up. We know who's here. Let's go ahead and dive into the first segment, which is news and other things. All right. So the first thing I have, this is kind of like I mentioned the members only thing. I'll go ahead and I'll just tell you guys now. My Mikolo Bastet unboxing video is quite frankly, I think we talked about it, but just in case, it is available in the members only section because I don't know if you guys have all had a chance to watch it. If you're not, you may not be interested in it, but I'm letting you know that it's there. It is not coming out of the members only section. So those of you who are interested in watching it, want to find out about this, who want to see the unboxing and assembly, you're going to have to pay the 99 cents a month. I guess technically you pay 99 cents for just this month, watch it, and then cancel your membership. That's fine as well. But if you want to check that out, all you got to do is click that link in order to become a channel member, and you'll be able to watch that as well as all of the other members only stuff that we have. And here, see here. Now, in terms of that, the progression is, so that video is available. So that's me unboxing it. But the plan with it is I'm going to do a full review video. Okay. So what I have right now is just me unboxing it. And I don't even, I'm trying to remember if I even used it. I don't think I even used it in the unboxing video. I think I just opened it up, took it out, said, okay, this is it. And then I used it during my normal workouts. So the plan is to do a full review after about 30 days of having it, of just that bench. But that's not where I'm going to stop. Instead, and it actually kind of works out that I was supposed to have Jason Benoit on here today, but instead he's gonna he wasn't able to be here because, and it's completely my fault. I just essentially didn't give him enough time when I sent him the questions. But this actually kind of works out because he's going to come on October 31st, which we have. So by that time, I would have finished my review of the Mikolo bench, because one of the things that we're going to talk about is how he is updating the Infinity bench to kind of like keep up with the different variations of the original design that he came out with. So he came out with the idea of a half bench, and now there are multiple other ones out there. You've got the RitFit one, which is actually going through yet another upgrade or update based upon user feedback. So I'm actually waiting for that bench to arrive as well, because I'm going to do a 3-bench comparison. I'm going to compare the Infinity bench to the Mikolo Bastet to the RitFit BWB. That's what they call it. So what I have right now is the Infinity bench, and I've got the Mikolo Bastet 2.0. So you guys can already see a few differences right there. Those of you who watched the unboxing assembly video are already aware of a couple of the other differences, but you guys can already see some of the differences right there just from the picture. And so the next, when I do the full comparison video, it'll be all 3 benches. I am not going to get the Kinsui Fitness. They've got one that I just saw. It's like $749. I mean, I guess I could ask them to send me one, but nothing about that bench screams out to me, hey, this is different. I realize that they said that it's been rated highly by Men's Health, but I essentially don't care if Men's Health loves their bench. I'm just going to go ahead and compare the 3 that were the first ones to kind of jump out there like that. And I do not know if I'm going to get the ABX from Freak Athlete. To be honest with you, I recommend checking out Michael Tabor from Jungle Gym Reviews review of the ABX if you guys want to get a comprehensive review of that bench. Because honestly, when Michael was here and he said that the attachments for the ABX don't fit the attachments for the Hyper Pro from Freak Athlete, I kind of lost interest. So there he is, Jared. I was literally about to wait until I had a moment I could text you like, hey man, you good? Glad you're here, man. So yeah. Carlos said the Kensui is rated highly priced by Men's Health. You know what? This is actually a good time to do this. I had not planned on doing this, but it's time for the first screen share of the day. Yep. Hey, that's it. That's right. Get loud. Get it out your system. Get it out your system. Okay. That's enough. All right. Got to calm them back down. But I'll go ahead and I'll pull up the Kensui Fitness adjustable bench just so you guys can see it, satisfy any idle curiosity you may have. Let's go ahead and take that off there. Oh, no, let's not do that. All right. There we go. Share screen. All right. So this is it. I was actually just looking at this yesterday. So it's their adjustable FID bench. They've got a video. I watched it. It's all right. It goes from 90 degrees all the way to -8 degrees. So this is a flat incline decline, hence FID. And it comes in either the Pro version, and this is important if you decide you want to buy this. The Pro version, which is $5.99, does not have the collapsible headrest, the part that folds down at the top. You're gonna have to pay an additional $150 basically, because the Pro is $5.99. The Max that does have the headrest that folds is $749. So anyway, and it's only available in the USA and Canada, and they're always innovating. This is not innovating, but thank you for letting me know. Anyway, so this bench is only available in the USA and Canada. And let's see here. Like I said, it says that Paper, Muscle and Fitness, Bar Bend, Men's Health, GQ, and Gear Patrol all love it. Well, Bar Bend to me is suspect, and I don't care what Men's Health, Muscle Fitness, or GQ have to say about home gym equipment. That being said, I'm not a snob, so if one of you guys buys it and loves it, I am excited for you. One thing I do like about this video, which I'm not going to play, but you guys can go visit this website if you want, kensuifitness.com, is that they show some of the different exercises you could do, which are the same that you could do with other benches like this, but they show some of the exercises you could do. So, anyway, so that is also out there on the market. As I said, I don't have any intentions of getting that one, but it is out there. Carlos said $150 for the breakneck feature. Good Lord. Hey, they rated highly. And here's my thing. All right, hold on. So Trevor said, Kensui makes some good stuff. I really like their open trap bar. Here's the thing. So most of the benches like this are in the $5.99 range, right? So let's look at the ABX. It's amazing. I typed in Freak Athlete and it immediately went to the ABX because that's the one I've been looking at. So let's share the screen there. All right, so look at the ABX, okay? Zero gap technology, all the things. I already said the thing, my gripe about the attachments not fitting, but whatever. However, this ABX bench is $599, okay? Then if you've got, no, we're not doing that. Then let's look at we'll go to the Infinity Edge, Exponent Edge, Infinity Edge. Go to the Exponent Edge, right, which is the first one that did it. First one to come out with this. All right. So you see that is $549. It's normally $599, but it's $549. Okay. Yes, there's a difference between the Exponent Edge Infinity Bench in that it only goes to 90 degrees currently, and the Kensui goes all the way down. But see the RidFit Sports bench. Let's see if they've got it on the website. Yeah. All right. So this is the RidFit Sports 3-section adjustable bench. So this is not the version that's going to be coming out. All right. This is what they have right now. and it is this is the BWB02. So I guess the one that's coming out is probably gonna be the BWB03. But in any case, this is $349.99, and I'm gonna just tell you that this one goes all the way down, and I used it. I liked it. Naomi liked it as well. So I'm just gonna tell you, I don't see $749 for the Kensui version of this bench unless they've got some magical thing that somehow makes me forget all about the other ones on the market that do the exact same thing. And in the case of the Freak Athlete, has a couple of extra features, but for about $150 less. So I can't. They'll have to talk me into it. Yeah. Hey, No Fate, what's up, man? What's up, my man? Good talking to you, man. The ABX looks good, Jared. Like I said, I don't like the fact that Michael, and again, this is secondhand information, but I trust Michael. Michael said that the attachments, the leg extension, leg curl attachment, the preacher curl, all those attachments only fit the ABX. They don't fit the Hyper Pro. So why that bothers me is because I already got a Hyper Pro and I already have attachments. So if, let's say, Naomi's using the bench and I want to do preacher curls, I should be able to take the preacher curl attachment and put it on the Hyper Pro and use it, right? That just makes sense to me. I don't see why you would make something that doesn't fit everything in your ecosystem that's similar. I just don't get it. Letha Cannon, hey, what's up? Letha's going to be on the show soon. I'm looking forward to that. What's up? What's up? Hey, there you go, Jared. Jonathan, he said that like button isn't going to hit itself. That's right. Listen to my man Jonathan. Hit the like button and hit subscribe. Come on now. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. It'll pay off. Let's see here. Anyway, back to, let's see, did we get it? Okay, I see your comment, but I don't care what that guy you mentioned, Eric, that guy you mentioned, I don't care what he thinks either. All right. So, all right. So now I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, okay. So I'm waiting for the RitFit BWB. I think it's going to be 03, as I said. And then I'm going to do a comparison video of those three, of the Mikolo, and the Infinity bench, which, as I said, I have downstairs. And I'm just waiting to get the RitFit bench so I can do them at the same time. All right. Compare apples to apples. All right. So that's the first things. Coming up on the channel, Naomi's got a 30-day review of the Spedience Velanix. It's just about ready. We actually just got some feedback. That's not the right collar's driving me. There we go. Collar was driving me nuts. So that's completed, but, well, it's not completed, I guess, because of what I'm about to tell you. It was completed, uploaded, but then we got a request for revisions from Spedience. So not to change anything, but to add stuff. They want us to also talk about some other features that Naomi kind of like mentioned, but they want us to like kind of go into more detail about those features. So we're going to have to do a reshoot this weekend, and then we're going to submit it. The plan was to have it out on Tuesday, but and that's still the goal. It just kind of did. I know we'll get the reshoot done and the editing done. So it kind of depends on whether Spedience is able to check it out and approve it in time. All right. But hopefully the goal is hopefully by Tuesday the 14th, it'll be out. All right. Another thing I got. So Jared said, yeah, I'm looking forward to the bench showdown. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's I will say this, and I told Jason Benoit. I told him this on the phone. I said, dude, you realize that you changed the world, because before him, before Jay came out with the Infinity benches, at most you could maybe get, I think ATX was equipment exercise, I think was the one that said it a couple of weeks ago. He said that ATX had a design from and they had a beef with somebody else where they had, like, you know how you take their bench, you can take the top of the bench off. All right, so that was the best you could do. But I don't even know how in terms of the timeline, how that came out compared to when Jason Benoit came out with the half bench feature. But regardless, I know that when that half bench feature came out, I as soon as I saw it, I said, oh, that's a game changer. And I immediately fell in love with it. And I was correct, because now it seems like everybody is going to it, rightfully so. In fact, that's even kind of altering how I'm approaching covering this stuff, because when all these copies came out, you guys remember, I was like hard line, I'm not talking about them, or if I am talking about them, I'm just going to call them out for being copies. But after talking to Jason, now I feel like, okay, we're at the point where these 3-section benches are essentially like a barbell. There's a bunch of them out there, and so my responsibility is to just let you guys know which ones are which one's the best buy, right? And I can't tell you what's the best buy for you, but I can tell you, hey, this has this feature, this does this doesn't, this falls short to me in this area, that kind of thing. You can make the best choice. So that's kind of like what I'm doing now. But yeah, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be cool. It'll be interesting. Jared says, Speedy is wanting to approve your reviews. That normal with other every single company. Well, no, not really. Hold up. Bells of Steel doesn't normally ask to see our reviews ahead of time. I want to see if there's anybody else. I don't think Iron Bull Strength asked to see our review ahead of time. But it's something that we put in all the contracts that we write for reviews, because, and it's actually important because I'm trying not to name anybody's name. I don't mean company, I mean like content creator. So one of the things we do, part of the reason why we send the videos to the company to look at first, is because you can avoid, in fact, here's a good situation using me. So you guys may remember maybe 2 weeks ago where I was talking about how I put the uprights on the Iron Bull Strength rack, and I put them on essentially incorrectly, right? And the reason I did that is because I couldn't get the holster line up. Well, if that was part of a review, then I would have sent it to Iron Bull Strength ahead of time, at which point they would have responded in the way that Isaac did when he saw it. He said, hey, that's in the wrong place. And he actually called me and said, this is what you need to do to fix it, right? So what we try to do with what we do, I don't know what other people do. What we do with companies is we put in the contract, we will let you see the unlisted video before we publish it, because I want to make sure that we get the technical specs correct, right? Because it's very easy for me just going through the website. I've got multiple videos products that I'm reviewing. I can't even imagine how other people do it there who do more reviews. It's likely, probable, in fact, that you're going to get something wrong. So we send it so we tell every company, hey, we're going to do the video, we're going to send it to you. And if you notice that we made a mistake, right, then let us know. Did we get the specs wrong? Did we say it's got a weight rating of 1,000 pounds and it's actually 1,500? Did we say it's on sale right now and it's not? Things like that. But as far as just people in general wanting to approve what you say first, oh yeah. And then they'll come back and say, like sometimes they'll want, like, so we had a recent example, a review we sent in, and the company wanted us to take out the B-roll showing the boxes, right? The damage from shipping. And we were like, I mean, come on, no. The answer to that is no, because that could be someone else's experience too. We need to just let them know this is what happened. We're not even blaming you for necessarily for how the boxes look. It's not like you shipped them, but you did pick the carrier. So you're probably going to pick the same carrier for somebody else, So anyway, that's a very long answer, but hope I answered your question. So thinking about it more, Jared says they're sending you something and paying you for your review. Potentially paying you for your review. Ain't no potential. With me, there's no potentially. They're paying me for the review. So hence they get some say in the final product. So that's, so I know Mario kind of like made everybody mad when he came on from 46 Fitness, but that is kind of like what I'm talking about. This ecosystem that's been set up, I think it's bad, because ideally what you want for somebody who's doing honest product reviews is for that person to be compensated for their time so that they do a good job, right? There's a difference between somebody, everybody has this fantasy that when it's a labor of love, you work harder at it. No, actually, the reason for that is because people often work in jobs that they don't have a passion for. But if they could get paid for their passion, you see that they put out a much better product. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's like the NFL. All right. Those guys love playing football. They've grown up loving playing football. And now they're getting paid lots of money to play football. And as a result, they're number one in the world in terms of playing football. Yes, there's American style football in other countries as well. And people who play it in the NFL are always better. Okay. So that's just one example. So obviously we're not going to make the same amount as an NFL football player, but the ideal situation in my mind is for someone who's a product reviewer to be compensated by the viewers so that they work for the person watching the video. The problem with that is people who are watching the video don't want to pay for that because their perception is that YouTube is free. And so they're like, why should I pay you anything for this? Because they're like, are you going to get watch time money? Watch time money is honestly. So I'll tell you this. I saw a metric and I actually shared it with somebody else. If you want to make $1,000, think about how little money that is. If you want to make $1,000 in a month on YouTube, you'd have to have 500,000 views that month. Now, I don't know where you live. I mean, I know where you live, Jared, but in general, I don't know where everybody watching this lives, but you're not gonna be able to pay your bills with just $1,000. So as a result, most of us get, and I'm not saying most of us don't make 1,000, but most of us are lucky to get $400 a month, right? So as a result, we tend to accept money from the brand. But then there's that tension because the brand is like, well, we're paying you. We should be able to tell you how to do the video. And so it's a constant tension. And I always come back with, you pay me for my time. You're not paying me for my opinion. You're paying me for my time. So there's that. So Rob says, I've yet to work with a company that wanted to see a review before publishing. I've declined partnerships with several that wanted review and or editing of content. So I don't allow them to edit, Rob, but like I said, in fact, I'll give you another example. This is RitFit. We did a video where we were reviewing the hip thrust bench, and I put it together upside down. Okay. And I know of other people who have put stuff together incorrectly, right? RitFit, because RitFit saw the video, they said, hey, by the way, that's upside down. And that's why you put it out like that, because that's why I let companies check out the videos ahead of time, because that saves me from having to delete something and then re-upload. I'm sorry, it saves me from having to publish a second video. Right? I can just delete that one with the mistake and re-upload, and it's one video, and that's that. But I don't allow anybody to tell me, like, to change my honest opinion about a product. Rob says, I do often send feedback before I film to give a company a chance to speak to any criticism, and I include that statement in the video. Kurt said, yeah, 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 I know, right? That's hilarious. Kurt says, wait, you guys are getting paid? That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm telling you, we don't, it's not a lucrative field. Anyway, Kurt says, I also communicate notes in a video preview with every review where the brand works with me. If I buy it, it'll always be a sneak attack style surprise. Yes, if I just pay money for it, you'll never know because I don't owe you anything. But and to be honest, actually, I can't even say that because, again, I don't want to be inaccurate. So while I'm not going to let you change my opinion about something, if I say this sucks, it sucks. But if I say this is supposed to do this, and you're like, well, actually, that's supposed to do that, right? Then that's inaccurate, right? So there's that. And I'd rather put out an accurate video. And to be honest with you, I don't really feel the pressure when I was arguing with a brand this morning before I got on the show. Okay. I was arguing. I was just like, no, it's like effortless telling people. I used to work for an insurance company with claims. So telling people no it on the internet, by emails and stuff, is like breathing air to me. I don't even flinch. All right. All right, let's see here. Oh, I know, right? Eric said leave it upside down on purpose. That way you get all the engagement comments from people telling you it's wrong. That, my friend, you're paying attention, okay? Yeah, there is nothing like doing something and then say, hey, should I have stopped? Am I wrong for this? Because there's nothing people on the internet love more than telling you that you're wrong. That's hilarious. All right, Kurt says I barely scrape over $100 a month in ad revenue. I mean, yeah, but your channel is growing, Kurt, and I see that you could probably make more than that if it became important to you to do that, to make more. Yeah, there's that. So let's see. All right, so all of that was the reaction to the Spedians Velonix. All right, we're moving along. All right. So bells are still heavy bag and hanger set. I got that. And let's pull this up here. I don't know how many of you guys are interested in this, but I'm interested. So I'm going to tell you about it. I'm interested, so I got it. It's funny because when I told Bells of Steel that I wanted it, they were like, really? I was like, yeah. Like, yeah. Why are you surprised? So anyway, so I got it. Now, there was a little bit of a mix-up because it came, so it's in multiple boxes, right? And the boxes didn't all arrive at the same time. So I got the heavy bag, and it's been sitting downstairs for maybe 2 months. And then I got the hanger, which is this thing. No, that's not it. Which is this thing. And I got the shackle couple weeks ago. All right. So what I'm going to be doing now is, let's go back to here. So the plan is to shoot that video this weekend. I'll do them as promised with everything. Is going to be a members only. You get a members only video of the installation, because what we're doing is whenever we get anything in, for those who don't know, we do a members only video of the unboxing and assembly of that product, and it's raw. So if we're going through the assembly process and we start complaining about, oh, this is stupid, or oh, this is awesome, you're going to hear all that. We do not edit it. The most we'll do is I'll get B-roll, and I'll put B-roll over something if it was hard to see because of the camera angle in the process of the unboxing and assembly. Other than that, there's no editing, right? I don't take out the verbal filler, none of that. Okay, so you guys get our raw initial reaction to it, and that's a members, like I said, it's a members only thing. So this Bells of Steel video I'm gonna do, since it's already out of the box. I'm gonna do the members only video of the installation showing how I hang it, and then I'm gonna do a review of it, which will be public a little bit later on. Now, for those of you who are gonna see the installation video, the problems that I'm trying to fix are, I don't know if you guys will be able to tell. Let me see. Look at this utility arm. No, dang, I keep clicking on the thing. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but the utility arm has a snowman pattern. All right. Let me see if I just zoom in. All right, so it's got a it's got a snowman pattern, right? So there's a 1-inch hole on the bottom, 5/8 hole on the top. Same thing on the bottom of the arm. And while that's great because it means it can fit racks with a 1-inch or a 5/8 hole, it doesn't exactly match with my iron bowl strength rack, because on the iron bowl strength rack, the snowman is upside down. So when I went down to check this, it was sort of, I could line up the 5/8 holes, but then the 1-inch holes were a little bit offset. So that's going to be something that I'm just going to have to work around. I may end up having to just use either or instead of both, which is probably this is probably good, because most people are going to end up using either or instead of using both holes. So I'll have to probably decide either I'm going to go with the 1-inch holes or with the 5/8 holes. But there's just like the OCD in me wants the snowman to line up with the snowman, and perfect. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm excited about using that. This is actually my first time owning a boxing punching bag. I've only owned what they call a banana bag, which is one of those 6-foot, 7-foot bags from Thailand, and so it's this is gonna be my first time owning. I've used a boxing heavy bag before, but I've never owned one, so it's gonna be interesting to me to use it. So that's just gonna be a little bit something different on the channel, because I do like hitting it'll give me a chance to get back into hitting the heavy bag. Probably be a weekend thing because it's noisy and Naomi's office is on the other side of the gym, so I'm not trying to like disturb her when she's in meetings and stuff. People are like, what's going on over there? I think there's a murder. No, I don't want that to happen. All right. So then, like I said, I don't know how many people will be interested in that, but it's interesting to me. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to channel my inner Kurt. I'm going to make a video that's interesting to me, and we'll see how it goes. Kurt says he's been growing at the same rate for 8 years straight. I mean, sure, Kurt, but here's the thing. You've been growing. By your own admission, you kind of just making making videos on your channel that are just interesting to you, not necessarily like your channel isn't like the focus, like, hey, I want to like consciously grow it. Okay, that may be different now, but I have full confidence that if you wanted to grow your channel, you could do it. I have full confidence that you could do that. All right, so stop that. Stop sharing that. All right, now get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And now, final thing before Recliner Rage is because we actually ran out of time. I didn't anticipate that. Is this is like a public service announcement. If you are not watching Rep, Rant, Repeat, he doesn't know that I was going to do this. But if you're not watching Rep, Rant, Repeat, a podcast for home gym nerds, you enjoy home gym stuff, then you need to get your life together. I love this show, and I love it. It's funny because it's the way Jason puts his show together is the complete opposite of how I structure my show. But that's part of why I love it, right? I love the vibe of the show, the way he's just sitting in his chair, kind of relaxing. It's like, you go in and like you're listening to your dad and he's just telling you about the world or whatever. It kind of gives you that vibe, right? I love it. I love the fact that he understands his strengths. First of all, I will say that he might have the best looking podcast studio in the home gym space. Okay. He designed it intentionally, which again leans into his strengths. He's just got one of the best looking setups. See if I can pull it here. So he's got like a nice little intro. See if he's got this here. See something. I'm trying to go to show like his. So of course now he's not going to show. So this was his old setup. He had like the guitars in the back, right? And now he's got he's updated it. I'm trying to see what's this here. He's updated it so that it's Let me go and see if I can pull up his see if I can pull up his all his episodes, because you can see the full episodes on Garage Gym Radio. So what I did though is I subscribed to the actual playlist. So I'm trying to see if maybe I can get to Rep Rant Repeat a different way, so I can show you guys his setup. But while I'm looking for that, like I said, if you have not started watching this, you quite honestly don't. And if you love home gym stuff and you're not watching this podcast, you don't love yourself. All right. It's very entertaining. He wants you guys to, those of you who submit your videos to the Home Gym Hub, Jason wants you to submit them to him. Just all you gotta do is basically give him the URL, I guess. And that way he can kind of go over it on the show and give you a little bit of, kind of give you, I don't know, not a shout out necessarily, but kind of like a kind of give you a spotlight. All right, there we go. So I found it. I had to go through Garage Gym Radio to do it. So actually, you can subscribe to just Rep Rant Repeat if you don't want to subscribe to Garage Gym Radio for some reason. But I subscribe to both, and you probably are better off subscribing to Garage Gym Radio and then just setting it up so that you can see episodes of the podcast. But then that depends on each episode of the podcast being added to the specific podcast playlist, or else you won't see it. Right. So that's what happened. So like for example, he's up to episode 5 now, but if you go to the podcast playlist, it's only on episode 3. But that's all part of the fun. So anyway, so here we go. So check out that background right there. Look at that. And I love that this is the still shot. He looks like he's telling you something impactful, But yeah, this is I'm telling you, he's got one of the best podcast studios I've seen in the home gym space. I love it. Everything, the colors, everything else, how the lighting is perfect. And like I said, the content is very entertaining. And another thing that I like about it is the time of day that it comes out. I think he's got I like watching it in the evening because he's just like kind of chill, like my show. Those people who watch it, like Kevin, shout out to Kevin who's here. My guy Kevin, what's up, man? He says happy Friday. Happy Friday, Kevin. I was actually talking to Kevin a few hours ago when I was up way too late. So now he's returning a favor. He's up way too late. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, so my show is not very conducive to watching at night unless you work at night. I don't understand. I wouldn't watch my show at night, okay? Because this is designed to be a morning show. Then the vibe and everything, right? But Jason's show is like, I love watching in the evening. It's nice and chill. Even when he decides to go on a rant, he's not like screaming, so you still like, okay. So anyway, now I agree with Jared. It is not kid friendly. Do not put it on if you got kids around. But it is enjoyable, and I do like that. I do like the show. Rob says agreed. MWPIG has a studio set up and it looks great, and that's an excellent time to let you know that as always, we gotta let everybody know that MWPIG 5 saves 5% at Prime Fitness USA. It's important for the culture that we never forget that. All right. That's just something that we all just need to make sure everybody knows about. Kurt says, Kurt says, I like his demeanor and his aesthetic. Exactly. Like he's just chill. He's chill. And the aesthetic, and that's another thing. It's almost like he's sitting in like a coffee shop, just kind of like talking to you, or Old Tavern or something like that, just kind of like talking to you. Yeah, it's just I love it. So it's one of my favorite shows. So if you're not watching it, you need to start watching it. I've got the link to it in the video description, and I will put the link to the most recent episode in the live chat right now, so you guys can go check it out after the show is over. And again, my recommendation is to watch it in the evening. All right, so let's do the see if do we have time to do the community post. Let's see here. Let's see. So we're gonna go to community section. Let me see. It depends on how much stuff is in the community section. So viewer posts. We got a lot of comments about, you know, stuff I've posted. Sort by newest. All right, so here we go. So we do have one. So let's go ahead and let's go to community section. We got time for we have time. So let's share screen. So this is a post from our very own Jared. He said this is his first pressing workout today with his Impress bar. Hope it's a winner. That's a good looking bar, man. I like it. I like it. Yeah. So I assume you're working out with it right now. All right. I want to get full details. I got to get DMs on Instagram so I know the details about how that actually post it on Instagram, post a link in the community post section so we can check out how the workout went for you. And Charlie said his Anubis spider arms are throwing up gang signs. Okay. You obviously have way too much time on your hands, Carlos. You got way too much time on your hands. We gotta get that foot healed and get you back out there. Oh, hey, I got a shout out. So this is the dead wedge that Jared got at Home Gym Con. Those of you who were present at the live in-person show, you know that I gave out. We had a scratch and dent giveaway, which is basically stuff that I've had in my gym that I've either didn't pay for or I've had for a long time, and I want to get it to a good home. And I think that's going to be Naomi and I agree that's going to be an annual event. So anyway, so Jerry got my dead wedge, and like new condition, because not long after I got the dead wedge, I got the open trap bar from Bells of Steel, so I didn't need the dead wedge anymore because I got the dead wedge. So not for I already had barbell jacks, all right. But what I didn't have was a way to make to get the weight easily on my trap bar. So I got the dead wedge, and then not long after that, I got the Bells of Steel open trap bar, so I didn't need the dead wedge anymore. So it's just been sitting on the shelf in my gym. So I'm glad that you're able to use it, Jared. Yeah, man. I think the dead wedge is a solid product. I'm not exactly sure. It's one of those things where, like, now that kind of like technology is marched on a little bit with the open trap bars, it's like, is there still a use case for it? So obviously there is one here, and I'm glad that you're able to use it, Jared. Okay, so that is it. All right, so I told you that wouldn't take long. So Kurt, your critique, is this referring back to Rep Rant Repeat? Is that you don't like how he frames himself in the shot? Let me look. And I guess y'all can look with me. Hold on, let me see. So that's different. So for me, I kind of like it because it does draw attention to the plates in the background. Let me see if he does it. If it's like this, this is him doing like the, yeah, okay. So I kind of like it because you've got like a little bit of a Gaussian blur in the background. It's not really a Gaussian blur, but it's kind of in the background. So you can see that it's plates. And I like the touch. Somebody else brought it up too, but he had guitars before, and now he's got plates, but the plates are Gibson. So it's kind of like, Gibson guitars, Gibson, whatever. Anyway, so I kind of like that. And the fact that he's kind of like his back is to the corner gives me, again, that vibe. Like I walked into to meet somebody, like it's almost like I'm meeting him for dinner. We're going to sit down and just talk. You know what I mean? Because of just how he's framed in the shot. But, it's to each his own. All right. So we got that done. All right. Now, we got a little bit of time, but we are not going to skip the most popular segment, which, as you all know, is Recliner Rage. It is time to crash out.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
All right, so today's Recliner Raise is dedicated to caffeine and the fact that I'm not really mad about it, about this, but I'm mad about how I felt. So here's the deal, right? So I caught myself. It's been a minute since I've deloaded from caffeine, and normally what I do is every time I get to a deload week, I cut out the caffeine, right? And that way it allows my pre-workouts to not lose effectiveness. My guy Ari from Garage Gym Homie said he'll like deload completely. He actually will deload and not even work out. But I deload, but then I work out still because I'm like, for most of the time that I've been lifting weights, I've done it without pre-workout, right? But then for the last 14 years, 13 years, I've been using pre-workout because I started working a night job. And as a result, I tend to wake up and work out. And so pre-workout helps me. Anyway, but the effects of caffeine from your pre-workout tend to go away. They tend to attenuate if you don't ever come off of the caffeine. So I went off this week. And of course, that's when everything started happening. So instead of working just 3 days this week, 3 12s this week, I worked 4 days. And then my little girl, and I'm not mad about this at all, she asked me to come to her school to eat breakfast with her. Well, that is at 11 a.m. So there goes daddy's nap. So went to the school, ate breakfast with her. But I'm sitting there and I'm just disgruntled because I'm mad about the caffeine. I'm going through caffeine withdrawals. And I'm like seeing little kids running in the hallway and I'm looking at them like grumpy. I'm like, yeah, you'll learn about running on these hard floors. I bet you your knees will start. I used to run on these hard floors. Now my knees hurt. Your knees going to hurt too. Right? Just being grumpy. All right. And that is exactly the wrong time for a brand. Speaking of brands, since we were talking about it earlier, for a brand to reach out to me and try to get me to remind me that I haven't signed up for their affiliate program. And I'm like, first of all, you wasted my time making me open this email because the fact of the matter is, it's kind of like when you ask a girl out and she doesn't say yes or no, but she just ignores you. Take the hint, okay? If I keep on just ignoring you, not answering you, there's probably something to do with it. And there's probably a reason for it. And the reason in this case is you haven't paid me yet. What makes you think that if you haven't paid me what you already owe me, that I'm going to further connect myself to you in any sort of financial way so that I can be mad every month instead of just this month? Explain that. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense at all? Okay? The answer is it doesn't. Pay me. Pay me before you talk to me. In fact, don't talk to me unless you're going to pay me. Don't talk to me. If I see you or anything from you, it needs to come with a check. Pay me the money that you owe me, just point blank, okay? Point blank. And then I was throwing some stuff in it to just make it work. This is just like the icing on the cake. I was throwing some boxes in the dumpster, right? And one of the boxes jumped back out, and I threw it in the dumpster. It jumped back out and attacked me, hit me right there. So you see that? I don't know if you can see, but I got like a little scar right here, right? So I swung back at it because I ain't no punk. I'm not about to let a box whip me, right? So I swung back at it, but it ducked out of the way and it jumped back in the dumpster. And I seriously considered climbing in the dumpster and hitting and getting my revenge. But the only problem is the dumpster's full of boxes, and I want somebody to call the police and say there's a man in the dumpster at 4 o'clock in the morning punching boxes. All right, because I don't think that would be that would be good for my public persona and also my arrest record. All right, I'm trying not to interfere with that. So all I'm saying is this is not a good week as far as that. All right, I'm just pay me my money. Just pay. Yes, I'm gonna go back with pre-workout again starting on Monday when I go back to lifting again. But I'm just saying between now and then, let me rest and don't come harassing me about your dang affiliate program if you hadn't paid me my money. That's it. I don't feel like that's a whole lot to ask. I don't feel like that's a whole lot to ask. I sent you your video on time. Send me my check. I also take PayPal and Cash App. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the chat to see what y'all have to say about my pain. I know that y'all normally don't care. I'm gonna go right here. We're gonna look at it. Then we're gonna bring our guest on. Hey, what's up, Tommy? Tommy says, show me the money. I'm telling you, There's nothing. It's kind of like when I used to be a bouncer in clubs, right? You work all night. Probably got it, especially like if you got in a fight that night. Sometimes you get in multiple fights. Keep in mind, there's no insurance with this job, right? You get in fights, you get, whatever. You're exhausted because you had to police adults who should know better, but whatever. And then you sitting there waiting to get paid. And it just feels like they're taking forever. You're like, dude, all I want to do is potentially go to breakfast, but definitely go to my house and go to sleep. Can you just pay me now? I was here on time, right? I got here when you needed me to be here. Can you give me my money when I need it? That's all I'm asking. That's it. It just gives me that vibe. Kurt says I sound like Stevie from Family Guy raging about getting his money. I'm telling you, it's the principle of the thing, okay? There's principalities in this, Smokey. I don't even know what this is. You're not right, Jared. Jared says the solution is get some pre-workout now. That's how I interpret that emoji of the coffee and the. He's like, look, here's what you need to do. This will fix most of this. Okay, whatever. Look, man, I'm standing strong. I got branched chain amino acids in here and not a single bit of caffeine. Okay, that's it. We're making it. We're getting through it. That's it. Okay, that's enough of that. Y'all stop making fun of me. All right, Trevor, you ready? Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna bring on my guest for the day, guest/co-host. But first, let's go ahead and allow our good people at LinkedIn to join the show because now we're gonna be professional. Okay. All right. There you go. All right, shout out to the Central Time Zone and welcome to everyone who just joined us from LinkedIn. Please take a moment to click like on this video, and if you are watching on YouTube, please consider hitting the subscribe button to help the show grow. If you are watching on LinkedIn, then do me a favor and follow our show page Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. That way you don't miss a single one of our uploads and posts. My guest/co-host today is Trevor Greenberg. Trevor is an Army veteran, and he is the current host of the Disgruntled PM podcast. He's been on the show before, so I was excited when he agreed to come on here and kind of run this experiment with me. Trevor is a home gym owner, and I've invited him on to react and respond to various things that I've seen recently that affect the home gym community, products that have come out, and just to kind of get his take on things. Especially because Trevor has a home gym that has like a shorter, lower ceiling than mine. So it's really good to get his perspective on it. If you are a brand owner watching this is React and Respond. And if you're a brand owner is watching this, I want you to consider this segment as a window into what your potential customers care about and how we, meaning me, Trevor, and the live chat audience, it's also going to give you a window in how we are responding to your marketing campaigns and the products you've released. So everybody go ahead, show your love like they did on Showtime at the Apollo. Show your love for Trevor. All right, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, John. And before we get started, I want to talk about
I'm offended at how much energy you have.
Well, here's the thing.
I know what you've been doing, Trevor. Go ahead.
I actually had a guest on my show recently, and behind the paywall, we talked about caffeine.
Yep.
And she is a sleep psychologist, so she knows a little bit about a lot.
Right.
And one of the things we talked about was the science behind caffeine and how it affects your body.
Okay. I'm all ears.
She said that caffeine has a 6-hour half-life,
mm-hmm.
which means, let's say you take 100 milligrams of caffeine. 6 hours later, you're still going to have 50 milligrams floating around in your body.
That doesn't sound good. So that sounds good if you are taking it from the perspective of, so I mean, okay. So keeping in mind that caffeine is one reason why everyone has no problem believing that the Aztecs and Incas built their pyramids in South America, but everybody has a problem believing that the Jewish people built the pyramids in Egypt. They look at the pyramids in Egypt and they say, oh no, it had to be aliens. But if you look at South America, you say, well, the Incas and the Aztecs built it. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, part of that is caffeine. And I think if you take it, for a specific purpose, I think that that 6 hour half-life makes sense or feels good, right? Because if I take it, let's say I take it for a powerlifting meet, or like you used to do weightlifting competitions, right?
I used to, yeah.
All right. So if I take pre-workout or caffeine or whatever right before squats, I would like for it to still be in my system and me to still have energy when we get to deadlifts.
Well, but here's where the problem comes in. It's a 6 hour half-life.
Okay.
And then at that 6 hour mark, you've still got 50% of it left.
Right.
Which means there's another 6 hour half-life of that 50%.
Okay.
So that 100 milligrams you took is really floating around in your body for like 12 to 18 hours. It's just diminishing effectiveness throughout the day.
Gotcha.
So then what do you do when you start crashing? You take more. So you're repeating the cycle over and over again.
Yes.
So you're actually detoxing from the caffeine that you took, because you're constantly feeding the beast.
Sure. I mean, I can see that. The question is like, does it so first of all, I apologize to all the kids who are watching this, including Kevin's kids, but you are going to urinate at some point.
Yeah.
All right. And some of the caffeine is going to go out through that pathway. But that's one reason why I say that you can't just detox. If you're going to like detox and deload, you have to take at least a week, because it's going to take a while for your body to, and then also you start having withdrawals.
You do.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're going to start having the symptoms or whatever. It's going to take you at like 5-6 days before you go back to normal. Right. But like in the context of what I said, the powerlifting meet, that's part of why at the end of, I mean, there's also the adrenaline dump, but at the end of a powerlifting meet, everybody's exhausted. They're just like, okay. And all you want to do for the next few days is just lay around and do nothing. There are some people who, like, after a competition will get right back in the gym. God bless every one of them. But I'm not that. I would take at least a week off and just be like, hey, look, I might move around, but I'm just like, okay, let's just, But I also, Kurt says, I really like non-stim pre-workouts lately. I like those as well. I actually contemplated taking some this week before lifting, because there's also the thing about caffeine is like it's a vaso constrictor. Mm-hmm. Whereas for a pre-workout, depending on what kind of workout you're doing, you're trying to get a pump. Well, you need a vasodilator. So now so let's say the creatine, if you have creatine in your pre-workout as well, it's almost fighting against the caffeine. So you're getting the energy from the creatine, but you're not getting you're not getting the pump effect. In fact, that's one reason why in some of those, like Animal Pack had a pack that you could take that's a pre-workout in a pack, and you always take the red pill out, the caffeine pill, because that way, it doesn't interfere with your pump. Jared says that he says my no caffeine days equal better energy in the afternoon compared to caffeine when I'm lifting in the morning. Yeah. Again, that goes back to that crash, like you said. And then if you've been taking it for a long time without a break, you'll find that you can actually go to drink caffeine and go to sleep.
Oh yeah. When I was in the military, even after the military, I would slam a Monster and then go right to bed an hour later. And my wife looked at me like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's an indicator something's wrong. But I mean, yeah, you could. It's like I've noticed this exact same thing. So that's why it's even more important. You're like, okay, look, like, do I really, like I was telling you last night? It's not a good sign when you take energy drink or pre-workout to type a report. Okay, this should not be that intense. Okay, and then he says no caffeine headaches. Uses salt water, which is preferably a better source than regular table salt. All right. So yeah. I mean, yeah, so like I said, I think like the non-stim pre-workouts are pretty well, depending on what else is in them. I think it's a good solid idea. But let's get this out of the way. This is the most important question we're gonna talk about today, because you took over the show. Was it last week you took over the show talking about shaker bottles? So I went through an entire segment, which I had never intended to do ever in my life. I went through a segment talk about shaker bottles, and I caught myself wanting to talk about it again with you today. and I'm restraining myself. It's insidious. It's very insidious, Trevor, how you took over my show with the shaker bottle business. All right. Have you found a shaker bottle?
Well,
after you made me go through all that?
I
There's
did.
only one correct answer.
I did. And now I'm having to rethink my search.
What?
So the one I currently am using, I just bought this. It is the Smart Shake Reforce, I think it is. It's the metal cup with the Smart Shaker basket in it. And
the one that keeps the ice out of your mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's the one that keeps the ice out of your mouth and shakes silently, because when I started going to replace my plastic cups, I had a couple of requirements. One is it has to be silent, because if I get up and work out before the family wakes up, I don't need to be waking up kids hearing whatever that noise is.
Man, wake them up. Wake them up. It's good for them. Bill's character.
No, I don't need my demons running around.
That's hilarious.
So I was almost sold on the Bold bottle as my one buy it once for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Then I looked at the price and I looked at no deals, and I can't buy anything without a deal, so I couldn't.
I'm just going to ask you, like, who sold you on that? Because I don't remember anywhere in my description of the Bold bottle where I recommended it as the go-to source. I was like, yeah, it's all right, but there's this other one that I like. And I don't get, and here's the thing. I want just everyone to understand that I don't get paid a dime for any of the shaker bottles that I talked about or recommended. My favorite, talking about I didn't mention it because it's not really a shaker bottle, but honestly, my favorite one because of the silent feature is the Visp, because I can put it in, press the button, and it mixes up silently, and I'll be doing something else, right?
Well,
it doesn't disturb anybody.
I have an electric one that I got as a gift.
Okay.
And I actually bought the bigger jug, the bigger cup for it, because the reason I'm moving on from that is I got tired of having an inch of foam on top of my protein shake every single time.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
So the Bold bottle looked really good because it was all metal, which means it's never going to corrode. It's buy once, cry once.
Sure.
But I just wasn't ready to make that cry.
Okay. You're not ready to cry yet?
Exactly. Then I looked at the ice shaker and I was like, okay, well, that's a good medium range, but I don't need insulation. And then I saw the Smart Shake one, and I got the
you don't want it to be insulated, so you don't care if it sweats on your desk.
We'll get there.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. So, I jumped ahead of the group. That's my fault. Go ahead.
I didn't think that I needed insulation, so I got the Smart Shake that was non-insulated, and I got the Motorhead Special Edition because it was $3 cheaper than the solid black one.
Okay.
And I've been using it for about a week now, and I've realized, okay, I need an insulated bottle. Because it sweats when I put lukewarm water in it.
To be honest, so that to me is the drawback of the Visp. Like I said, I love how it mixes and everything, but man, I just turn around. First of all, it gets hot too fast, and if it's a hot drink, it gets cold too fast. But then, yeah, it sweats. Yeah. Now you can get some that have like a sleeve, but if I'm going through all that,
I'm just going to spend the money on an insulated.
Just give me an insulated. Yeah, just give me an insulated bottle. Like seriously, because it's going to sit on my desk. And like this is the ice shaker.
Yep.
And I wish that when I actually had my buddy Casey put my logo on here. But you can now get, as most of you probably know, you can now get your logo or whatever logo you want on your ice shaker bottle. But when I got it, you had to order in bulk. Now I think they'll let you get like just a one-off or whatever. It may cost a little bit more, but I like this thing because I've actually been using that since, well, before I started the show. So we're probably like 3, maybe 4 years I've had it, and it's been working. It's going fine. It's got a few like chips on the bottom. You see, like it's been around the country. All right, it's gone through a lot, but it's dropped. It's been dropped in multiple locations, but it's still doing well. So I'm like it.
So now, so one thing you don't think about though is when you use a plastic cup, it doesn't absorb the temperature nearly as much as the metal one does. So the plastic cups don't sweat as much if you put
Right.
a little bit of cold water in them. Whereas this
Right.
one, it sweats like crazy because because the metal is
Yeah.
absorbing all of the temperature of
100%.
whatever it is.
Now, one thing that's good about a non-insulated one, 'cause I'm trying to make you feel better, is
Oh, I'm fine.
let's say I want something to be like a slushy. I can mix it up because it's, you know, those of you who don't know, it's hard to stir ice. So you can mix it up and then put it in like the freezer for a little bit, and it cools off a lot faster. And you get it to where like you have like that layer of ice on the top, and it's like it's perfect. But that's gonna be my only, you know. And I will say this: a slushy pre-workout is underrated. Okay. If you've never had a pre-workout slushy, that's underrated. All right. You need to get your life right. All right. But there you go. Because you know what, you get the brain freeze and the pre-work, the caffeine hits you. Oh yeah. Lives get changed. Okay. Kurt says I like the UXO one, but obviously I'm biased. I have actually not seen, I'm familiar with UXO just because they sponsor your channel, but I haven't I've never actually like gone on their site. So I'm not familiar with their shaker bottle.
So final answer is this is going to be my backup one.
Okay.
And I'm kicking the can down the road until Black Friday to see what goes on sale. To
do you want me to just send you a dang shaker bottle, man? I mean, like literally.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, I'm gonna sponsor your podcast by sending you a dang bottle. Good Lord.
I'm good.
Letha says, I'm with you, Trevor. And so she's training clients, but this meant enough to her to stop and make a comment. She said, I'm with you, Trevor. Keep those kids asleep, or that workout is no longer your workout because it changes the entire dynamic when everyone else is up. I actually do agree with that.
So, Letha, I have to know which side of Alabama which side of the state of Alabama you fall on with your college choice.
Okay, so then we'll wait for Oh, okay. So Kurt's talking about UXO regarding the non-STEM. Oh, okay. Well, you did say that. All right. That's the perils of me seeing all the comments in the chat section. That's hilarious. All right. Here we go. And
War Eagle.
Oh boy. I don't understand.
But John, we can all agree we hate Alabama, so it's all good.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. Hey, look, I'm telling you. See that right there? That's it. All right. Even though they made me mad last time, but then we came back and redeemed ourselves. Anyway, I can't believe we lost to Alabama. Can't believe we lost. Anyway, that's rage for something else. All right, let's talk about something else. And did you guys see the Iron Bull Strength teaser in Isaac's story? I don't know if you guys saw that.
They had that at Home Gym Con.
Yeah, but the way that they're changing a little bit of how they did the he said basically the cable stack. They're making some adjustments to the cable stack. Let me see if I can pull this up right here. See if it'll open up.
Yeah, they had that set up at Home Gym Con.
Yeah, I mean, I know they had the setup at Home Gym Con, but so for the first thing is you see that the piece that they're what do you call it, the selector is different. That's a different style selector than what they had at Home Gym Con.
They had that one there.
The one that they had at Home Gym Con was flat.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're saying that, unless you're saying they had that one as well.
I'm saying they had that style at least.
Right, yeah. So that what they had at Home Gym Con was just flat, straight up. And then this one has the curve. So Isaac sent it to me, and I was like, this is. I'll play it again. I was like, this is all very seductive, but I'm married. All right, don't be sending. And then he sent it late at night too. So I was like, hey man, look, I'm married. Don't be sending me stuff like this. So then I showed Naomi, and she's like, ooh, that's sexy. I said, hey, you're married too. Stop it. All right. So anyway,
so there's one problem with this setup.
What is it?
That I see right off the bat, and that is there's no ability to micro load unless you're doing something on the top plate. Like you can't add a gym pin or something like that to it.
Right.
For those monsters that need the extra weight or just to go in 5-pound increments.
So my question is, couldn't you put the gym pin through the hole of the bull?
I don't know what the load would be on that. How strong that adapter is, if that was built for load bearing or not.
I mean, Because okay, so I don't know.
Or
I've
you
not
couldn't
seen a
fit.
gym pin that's heavier than 5 pounds.
Well, I'm just thinking if you wanted to add more weight to the stack.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Like if you put the adder pin in the hole of the bowl, then all that section of the selectorizer thing is going to be holding is let's say it's the bare steel equipment one that's 5 pounds. All it's going to be holding at unsupported is 5 pounds. The rest of it that's holding the stack is going to be essentially supported.
Well, like I said, I don't know what the metal is. That's not my specialty.
I got you. Eric said magnetic plate mates, baby. But then I also say, couldn't you put like something else we're gonna talk about, which is the fringe sport.
Fringe one.
Yeah, couldn't you put that on the very top?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that might be in fact, let's go to that now, even though we're gonna kind of go out of order. But I think that this might be a solution for that as well. So let's throw this here. Quick, pull this up. So take this down, because I think that this solves a lot of problems at once. It's intriguing to me. Yeah, like that. I just put it on the very top of it. What's intriguing to me is that they said it goes on a barbell because it's got a magnet on it. So I think that's the most interesting thing. Now, I am probably in the minority because I'm not a fan of gold. I just don't like that. But I'm the boring guy that likes for everything to be any color as long as it's black. I could be talked into red.
I will say this. That when it's gold, it doesn't blend in with your floor. So if you're looking if you drop a bunch of stuff on the gym floor and then you go around looking for something, if it's black, it blends in with the floor easier than gold will be if you just if you're one of those animals, will say, that just throws your stuff wherever you want it, and not everything has a place.
Oh yeah.
You can lose.
I don't
things
relate to
quickly.
those people.
I don't either, but they exist.
I know they're out there in the wild. I've seen their Instagram posts.
So if you make it gold, it stands out, and then you can't miss it.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, well, it's kind of like then that means I can't unsee it. Like our aesthetic is, well, essentially, I mean, you can see it over my head. It's like essentially, like I'm the guy that's upset. Like whenever I look at my dumbbell rack because it's black and white, and I'm like, it doesn't match the rest of the gym, and I can't stand it because it doesn't match the rest of the gym. But we're like committed that we weren't going to replace the dumbbell rack until, because one thing we don't do is we don't go into debt to buy gym equipment, and then the other things that we wanted were higher in terms of our Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but we were like, we wanted to get like the right one. So we're going to get something from Synergy Custom Fitness, and it's going to be in black and red. And I know that you don't like red, Eric, but hey, it is what it is. Black and red. That's it. Okay. Same colors as YouTube. It is what it is. All right. What do you think? Since we're talking about it, so it's 2.5 pounds a piece. They're available as singles, a pair, or 4-pack. Is this something that personally gets your interest? And same thing for the people in the chat. We want to hear from you guys too. Like, is this something that's on your radar?
This actually solves a problem that me and Jared have been talking about for a couple of weeks now, because I've said that I'm eyeing upgrading my Bells of Steel tower from plate loaded to the stack.
Okay.
And one of the things I've been kind of racking my brain on is, how do I get that 5-pound jump in that stack?
Okay.
So something like this, buy a pair of those.
Solves that problem.
Solves the problem. It's an easy thing to get, and since they're magnetic, I can slap it right on that top cross member, and it stays out of the way. Right.
So it's easy for storage and stuff. I like that. So the thing that I do like about it is that it's available in a 4-pack. Like I actually can't think of a use case for a single one, unless maybe you're using it with like one of those loading pins or something. But I like that it's available as a pair or as a 4-pack, because a pair is great because obviously you can put it on. Well, I guess a single. I just said that and I just thought of one because you can just put one on a cable stack. Okay, I get it. But I'm thinking about it with a barbell, right? So you can obviously put one on each side of the barbell. But if you have a 4-pack, that means you can load up 2 things at once. So if you're doing like a superset, then that's available for you.
Or you could have one set at your cable tower, one set at your barbell, or if you've got multiple machines, a set at each machine. Because
exactly.
One of the things I've learned over the decade plus I've had my home gym is you either build your gym for efficiency or for lack of space. Try and cram as much as you can in as little space as possible. Right. And I've found over time there's so many things I've gotten that I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then by the time it comes to use it, it takes me 2 minutes to set up and I'm just, nope, not doing that. Let's move on to something else.
Oh, yeah. 100%, man. I was saying that the other day, like a lot of things make sense until you actually have to set it up and use it, or like it looks cool on Instagram. Like some of these elaborate setups people have, like, oh, we're going to do this and do that just to do leg extensions. I'm like, man, I'm not doing all that every single time I want to do a leg extension. I'm not going through that, you know.
Case in point, at Home Gym Con, I was dead set on finding a seal row pad to be able to do leg extensions on my cable tower.
Yeah.
I wound up coming home with the PRX access pad. I have tried doing leg extensions on my cable tower probably 4 times.
Yeah.
And every time it's taken me way too long to set up and it's been an epic fail.
Yeah, it's annoying. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying it's annoying to me. I don't want to go through all that. Yeah.
And I'm working out where I've got time to keep myself into shape, assuming my body is feeling okay to go and do work, go and exercise, go and lift. And I'm doing all of this while I'm trying to stay quiet in the garage so I don't wake up the wife and kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Not acceptable. It's just annoying. Letha said black and red is her whole gym. And I have seen that gym on Instagram. It's that we're going to deep dive into that gym a little bit more on Instagram, but I'm telling you, it's in fact, hold up a second. We can show it right now. Let me see. She's got I'm trying to find like a good picture. There we go. This is a good one. Okay, no, it's not. Well, because she's got like the what you call it, the yeah, this is cool. She's got like some of the editing stuff. And I want to get a big something that shows like the gym so you can get like actually tell what it is. So this is you see her gym right there. So black and red. Pretty much.
I'm disappointed in you as an Auburn fan.
Hey, Letha, we got plenty of room in the Georgia fan base. All right. That's it. I'm just telling you, we got plenty of room.
I'm disappointed.
Jared said that you went over to see his gym recently.
Yep. And that's something, you know, we talk about the community of the home gym space. And, you know, me and Jared live probably 20 minutes apart.
Oh, wow.
I never knew Jared even lived in Louisville until I was in the live chat on your show, found out about that. And when I went over to his house, both of our kids were playing for about an hour while me and him were talking home gym stuff.
I love that. That's the whole point right there. And I mean, I'm glad you said that because I honestly didn't know that. But that's one of the things that is a goal for this show. Yeah, it's to let people, you know, kind of like know about brands and things like that. But it's also the real community so that people who can, you know, meet up if they live closely enough, you know, that kind of thing. Kurt says, such a cool space. Yeah, Letha's got a nice gym. I'm telling you, she's let's see, you guys. So her Instagram is Letha Cannon, no spaces, no underscores, anything. So you guys can, I think it's public. You guys can go ahead, give her a follow. You'll see she's got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of positive, motivational stuff she posts in the mornings and things like that. Go ahead, check it out. And Letha says, listen, I love Auburn, but orange is not my color. Hey, I do not understand the Tennessee Volunteer fans. They walk around. You see them walking around looking like a giant Fanta bottle. And I'm like, how are you living what are you spending your paycheck on? I don't understand your thought processes right now. I don't get it. So all right, so we're saying that the social media reactions to the Midas touch fractional weight plates was pretty positive from what I could tell. You had a lot of people who were like who were like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. People were like, when is this coming out? We had a couple. They did do a walkthrough video release on YouTube as well as on Instagram. But I thought that it was it looked to be like a pretty positive overall reaction. I don't know if anybody has heard any. Have you seen anybody say, "Oh, this sucks" or anything like that? I haven't.
PK usually does well thought out items when he launches them.
Yeah.
Like they just announced last night their new mag pins.
Yeah.
And I think those things are awesome for the idea of what their intended purpose to solve is.
Right.
I think it's a great idea.
Right. I mean, I say, yeah, I mean, so I see like people who are like, oh yeah. So like Kinsey said, take my money. Kevin's a fan. Mark Flex Marshall Spot said, yeah, these are really sick. Carp said he ordered one. He went ahead and ordered. They basically, you just scrolling down. It's like people like, hey, I just bought them. There are a lot of people who are saying that they ordered them, but then there are people who are also saying like they wish there was just a 5-pound top plate for the Dane. But yeah, I think that this is I think it looks like a win for them. And French Sport Reports, they posted like a day later on Instagram, maybe 2 days later, that they had an amazing Midas Touch launch. So it looks like it was something that was pretty successful. So I guess, yeah. All right, let's move on to the next item. I've got 3 Bells of Steel related items in a row. So do you want to talk about the Bells of Steel in Phoenix, the Maverick Bar collab, the clamp collars, or the Oblivion cable tower squat stands? I'll let you choose. Which one you want to talk about first?
Well, I guess we can talk about the cable towers because that's the one that's going to irritate me the most.
All right. I am all about bringing not joy. So let's go ahead and do that. Paste that there. Now, why is this? Tell me why this is not what this is. Before I pull it up, why is this not going to bring you joy?
Because they only made it in a 90-inch tower.
Oh, because of the okay.
I have 84-inch ceilings in my garage because my house is weird when it was built that the basement and the garage are on the same level. Okay. So I have 84-inch ceilings, and if you look at I screenshot this and sent it to Jared. Actually, if you look at the design that they did for the new tower for the Oblivion versus the old one, they completely changed the way the cables are routed.
Okay.
And then they put the pulleys on the top of the top cross member instead of the sides.
Okay, so that requires more headroom.
Right.
Okay.
And what they did was on the 60 by 60 tower, the cables run down the sides of the chrome upright. On this one, they run down the front.
Mm-hmm.
So that would solve a lot of my problems because that would also work better with the access pad that I already have because I can't find hitch pins that don't rub against the cable on the sides.
Gotcha.
So this would solve a lot of my personal problems that I have with the 60 by 60 tower, other than the fact that it's too tall for my garage.
So the first thing I say though is, let's just back up a little bit. How do you feel about this versus like why not just get a functional trainer? Or
I don't have the space for that.
Like even one of those, like one of the Force USA ones that kind of fits in I'm talking about, the ones that just kind of fit in a corner.
I don't have a corner. The way my garage,
you don't have a corner.
The way my gym is set up is the cable tower is on the wall on the side. And I'm part of the reason I'm looking at upgrading to the cable stack is to reduce the footprint because right now I have to have an extra 4 inches around the tower to be able to put the plates on.
Okay. So the functional trainer would definitely not work because it's going to be even.
And a long time ago, me and you talked about if I was going to do the Bell's functional trainer that's designed for the corner. And it's great that these machines do all these things in one. But one of the things I've already figured this out, nobody talks about is you can't do multiple things at once. Like on my squat rack, I've got 2 sets of roller J cups, one for squat, one for bench, and they stay there.
Yep.
If I get a functional trainer and use that as a squat rack, those J cups come off because as I'm moving the trolleys up and down, I can't leave J cups there.
So you say that, but that is one of the reasons why I said we don't have a rack mounted functional trainer in our home gym, because it gets in the way of two people using the rack at the same time. And so that's exactly the same problem. I'm like, I get that some people love it and they're looking at like the convenience of just having like an all-in-one unit, but for our situation, that's not going to work because we're going to get in each other's way. 100%.
It goes to the efficiency piece. We talked about it. Yeah. If you've got the ability to spend hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym, then that's great.
Sure.
You know, you don't have to worry.
Good.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about putting J cups on, taking them off. You could do the jammer arms and all the elaborate setups you want.
Yeah.
But I have a half an hour, 45 minutes to get a decent workout in if I'm feeling okay. So I go in there and I look at how can I be setting up the next exercise during my rest period 100%. Without impacting what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I think that's a solid point that I don't think enough brands, and if brands are watching this, you hear what we're saying. This is the thing. While there's the other side of the thing too, where I'm like, all right, don't forget about people who have garages where it's like I got 100 inches of clearance from the floor mat to the ceiling, right? But still don't forget about people like Trevor who don't have that much space. You gotta I understand that it's cheaper to just make one thing, but you gotta make multiple versions of the thing. So let's see here. And then Jared says, speaking about it, the squat stands, he says, I don't love how the stabilizer feet. Let me go ahead and share the screen again so we can see what he's talking about, because I think that's actually a really good point. He says, I don't love how the stabilizer feet go where you would actually put the bench. So you put the bench. So my impression is that you're going to be benching in front of the rack. If you're benching, you're going to be in front of the rack, not between the rack. So you're going to need spotter arms.
They made a fix for that on the 60 by 60 towers. I don't remember what it was, but I remember them when this was done for the 60 by 60 towers. I remember them saying they addressed that concern with something.
But wouldn't you just be lifting in front of the thing, in front of the squat stands?
You would be
spotter arms,
but your bench would still, your head would probably be about where the chrome uprights are on the tower.
I got you.
So your bench would go in between them.
I got you. That makes sense. I hear you, Jared. Yeah. Okay. And Carlos said, I didn't even notice that, Jared. Good point. Yeah. Shout out to Kinsey. We literally just talked about you. I summoned you. Hey, what's up? Hey, we gotta get you. I need you to come on the show and just give us a full report about your yet another successful physique competition. The champ is here. So congratulations to Kinsey. Okay, so now so for you, just to circle back around, and I want to hear in all of these questions that I'm bringing up with Trevor, I want to hear from the chat as well, right? So for me, it makes more sense to just do a functional trainer rather than do dual squat stands, because I'm going to be mostly using it for cable crossover, cable movements, not necessarily. I mean, I'm going to use my power rack for lifting, right? For power rack things. And then I'm going to use I would be using the Oblivion for, again, as a makeshift cable crossover. Well, to me, you're better off just using a functional trainer, right? So my question is, for you specifically, and I don't remember, I'm going to go to GetRx because they literally just put out this thing.
The Phoenix is too tall.
What about the Viper? Is that too tall as well?
I didn't even see. I haven't looked at that one.
Because the Viper goes up in the, it's up against the wall. That's why I thought about it. I said, oh, it's like up against the wall. So let's see, how tall is this thing here? Okay, this is all great, but it doesn't tell me how tall it is.
On their images, they have full dimensions.
There we go. So it's 83 inches. 83 inches to the top of the to that top of the trolley right there.
Okay. I'll have to look into that one.
I'm having to tilt my head because it's like so yeah, 83 inches. So yeah, there you go. So Dave and Mike, if y'all are watching, we got somebody interested in the Viper, the RX3 Viper. I think that would be a that might be a solution for you.
Yeah, I never even saw that one. I saw the Phoenix Tower and too tall.
Well, see, that's the thing for me. It's like they put out so many functional trainers that like kind of are similar. You're like, well, that does what that does, and that does what that does. Like, what's the difference? So, I still really don't know the difference. So, if somebody in the chat knows, like, what are the major differences between the Viper and the Phoenix? Please, besides height, please let me know. Because that goes back to me saying, well, why not just make more than one height? Make the Phoenix available in more than one height if that's the only difference. Unless there's like some issue at the plant or the factory or whatever. Maybe it's still, because would it still be 2 SKUs? You know,
yeah.
I don't know. So yeah.
Or you just make it somewhat modular.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, if you're investing the money in a new product, if you've got like use bells, for example, they've got 4 sizes of uprights.
Yep.
They built the Kraken for the different size uprights.
Yeah.
Why not build almost like a Plinko system where you just buy the pieces based off of the height of the upright. Right. And it's a build a kit rather than a fully finished product, but everything is still the same. It's just scaled.
So let's see here. I see you getting poetic, Jared. Jared said a Phoenix should soar higher than a Viper, so that one better be the taller version. Otherwise, it makes no darn sense. I will not argue with that. JBTV says, "What's up, man?" He says, "Viper has the best footprint. It's very slim, only sticks like 13 inches off the wall or so." I'm not sure if this is the one that Luke from Luke's Garage Gym reviewed or not. I don't know if it was the Phoenix or the Viper or whatever. I know he reviewed one of them, so that might be one that you check out his channel to see which one it was, because I know that he checked it out and that immediately got my attention. Okay, so you're on board with the cable tower, and I'm more on board with a functional trainer in terms of solving these problems, and hopefully the Viper fixes your issue, because like now, would you have a problem with bolting it to the wall? Because that definitely you have to bolt to the wall.
I already did with the Bell's Tower.
Okay, cool. All right. So then my thing is like, all right, when you take it down, I guess you just go ahead and just like put what you call it to cover the holes back up. Because that's my thing.
Oh, that's easy to patch holes and drywall.
Like, man, they're patching holes. Right, but I've got shiplap on my walls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like, so people are like, oh, you need to bolt it. I'm like, I'm not bolting a thing. All right, because if I gotta move something, I'm like, hey, come, what you see?
Here's a potential deal breaker.
Uh-oh, what is it?
On the bottom, it bolts to the base, to the very bottom of your wall.
Yeah.
So if you've got a finished basement like I do, or finished garage, I've got baseboard. So I don't know. So the Bell's Tower, the way it's designed is it actually goes over the bottom baseboard.
Okay.
To bolt to the wall.
Okay. So this still might not work for you.
No, but I mean, it's a better option than what I was considering before, because my only 2 options were Bell's or Titan. And after Jungle Gym's review on the Titan Tower, that one's not even an option anymore.
Okay. Well, you already know how I feel about Titan, so I'm not even
Well, I mean,
but
I felt the same. I felt the same
way.
way, but I was considering it because they're improving, and that's, I think, the 3rd or 4th version of that tower. But after his review, I was like, no.
Yeah, so it's the 4th beta test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what it is. It's the 4th beta test.
I mean, I'm gonna end up just driving the 2 hours up to Indy and go pick up the Bell's Tower when I'm ready to get it. Because I can go see Andrew too.
Yeah, and then also that's the other cool thing about it is like you can go up there and you can say, hey, well, let's kind of brainstorm a little bit and see if we can figure out a solution or something like that. All right, so here's another Bells of Steel thing. So they've got a collab with the Phoenix Maverick bar, which I will be completely honest with everybody, I was not familiar with. But it's going to be this bar. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. It's going to be compatible with their bring your own bar Smith machine. So for those who have never seen the Maverick bar, this is it right there, compared to a standard bar. And I think they've got a video showing like what it does. Let's cut that noise off. All right, so this is the Maverick bar. This right here, to be honest with you, looks like a Jared Martin special. Am I lying? Am I lying? Right? That looks like a Jared Martin special. Okay.
This almost looks like an old Kabuki reject, like a
It
prototype
does.
of a Kabuki bar. Just the way it's so functional in that it does so many things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. How long do you think it takes to set up to change each one of these modalities as it's shown here?
Man, I don't even know.
Exactly.
That's what they should have a video on, how fast you can change it. I think that, you know, some of this stuff now, I will say, so they've shown like 3 or 4 exercises where the handles wouldn't have to move. Right.
But I'm just saying, I think that I think that it's a great bar for one of those, for somebody who they want one bar to rule them all.
Yeah.
And they have the time to swap everything out.
Yeah.
It's a luxury. Yeah. It's a luxury. It's not a need.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, well, if you listen to some of those stone lifting guys, everything we have in our gyms is a luxury. It's like, just go outside, pick up a rock. Stop playing. All right, Jared. Yeah, Jared. You need 3 rocks. A small one, a big one, and a bigger one. And that's it. That's progressive resistance. Relax. So here we go. Eric said, so this bar, you know, Eric always has the inside scoop on everything, right? He said this bar was developed like 3 years ago. Rep Fitness wanted it, and Gordon said no. So I'm interested that they are collaborating with Bells of Steel now, and it's going to be part of, like I said, they bring your own bar Smith machine. They sent an email, I want to say last week. It came out last week. In the Bells of Steel newsletter, and it just said, hey, we got this collaboration coming out with the Phoenix Maverick bar. So I really don't know what that's going to look like because they don't have any videos about it, but I'm like, it kind of looks like almost like a transformer bar a little bit, like you're saying Kabuki. So it's like, all right, well, let's see. This is for me, this is like a wait and see. Like, let's just wait and see.
One thing I will say that looks interesting about it is, if the holes are 5/8, or whatever the standardized size of the holes are on that bar, yeah. think about the ability to tinker with it for some of those people if it's standardized to everything else that's on the market.
Right.
Like it's not a bar where you buy it and that's what it is. It looks like there's all kinds of ways to do other things with it. And if you want one bar and you've got the time to swap everything out and do all that stuff, more power to you.
Now, to your point, you got to have clamping collars to fit the weight sleeves on, because it's axle sleeves. But then also those angled handles are not standard. You have to order the angled handles instead of the straight ones. So you have to kind of know what you're getting when you first, when you're ordering it. But yeah, that. Oh, okay. So now, all right. So it's Pheno X. Pheno X is Eric said that's how it's pronounced. All right. Well, that just made me completely lose interest in it because I'm not about to say Pheno X. I'm saying seriously, yeah. So I got the Pheno X bar here, and I ain't about to say that. I'm done with that. Yeah, get out of here. Beat it. You gotta have standards, man. A man has to make a stand, and I'm making my stand right there.
If it doesn't sound cool, then it can't be cool, right?
Exactly. It's because appearance is everything. All right. No, I just don't. Sometimes, I've seen stuff where it's like, okay, well, why'd you name? Like, I give the GetRx guys a hard time. I'm like, why did you choose the most difficult name to spell for your brand name. Like nobody, even the people who work there. If I got 20 employees that said, all right, write down your company name correctly, I'll bet you I'll get at least 5 different variations.
Well, Kayvon has even said that he's tinkered with renaming Bells because when he named it, he didn't expect it to be what it is.
He's talked about that and changing the logo, and I'm like, dude, just leave it the way it is. But that's different. To me, that's an iconic logo. It's like you're kind of like iconic.
It is now.
Yeah.
But it didn't start that way. You know, I know people who have podcasts who have had them for 7 years, and they say if I was to do it all over again, I would never name it what I named it 7 years ago because I didn't think it was going to get this big.
I mean, I get that, but what I'm saying is it's not like it's named something like hard to spell, hard to remember. The logo is distinctive. You can see the logo and you know that Bells of Steel. And the fact that I think he feels like it's kind of like limiting, but that's because I guess people like you expect like the kettlebell crowd wants you to believe that kettlebells is the only thing that applies to to bells. But I'm sorry, but barbells and dumbbells have been around about as long as kettlebells, and to me, it fits with all of that.
And there are I would venture to say probably 80% of the people that own Bells of Steel equipment don't even know that he started out selling kettlebells out of the back of his car.
Yeah, and I'm like, honestly, does it like it's one of those things? It's like let's go back to like so fringe sport. Okay, you're on the fringe. All right, cool, but I got to explain that. You know what I'm saying? I have to. It's like there are very few company names where I can look at it and be like, okay, well, why is it named that? And I automatically just know. Honestly, Rogue Fitness, what is that? I know what a Rogue is. But I mean, what are you like into D&D, World of Warcraft? I mean, what is this Rogue business, right? But it just, now it's iconic. Don't change it because it's iconic.
See, you go to D&D, I go to counterculture of
Magic the Gathering.
Well, I've always thought of Rogue as they're against the grain. They do their own thing.
Oh, yeah, you're going rogue? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Except now they're not.
Well, they haven't for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, to me, it's like I said, it'd be different if the name was something that I felt. So let's say you get a name. Well, actually, this is a good one. So if you have a name and it sounded great at the time, but then let's say the name meaning becomes derogatory, and I'm saying that because I happen to see the Redskins thing over my shoulder, right? And so while there are people who still, I mean, there's Native American schools that have Redskins as their mascot, but there are also people who are offended by it. So I can see wanting to change a name in that situation, but when it's not offensive and it's iconic, everybody recognizes it. Like, why would you Cracker Barrel yourself?
See what I'm trying to tell you? We're not going there.
I'm just saying. You change the logo just for the sake of changing the logo, and everybody gets mad, and the people who you wanted to attract don't take it the right, like aren't responsive anyway. Let's just leave it alone.
Well, I mean, hockey has it right where they've got their primary jerseys and then they've got alternate jerseys that they wear occasionally. I know football or University of Oregon is the best example of this. I don't even know what their actual jersey is because they're in Nike's backyard, and the history of Nike in Oregon goes way back to Bill Bowerman days. But they have a different jersey every game,
right? And
part of it is PR and marketing because they're going to sell how many more thousands of jerseys because someone sees it and goes, "Oh, I want that." I mean, military appreciation. We are the suckers for that to the nth degree.
I'll say, in fact, you bring up Nike, and that to me makes a point also. How many people know that Nike means victory in Greek? Nobody. This is all that's Nike. In fact, that people don't even pronounce it the right way. I remember the people when I was growing up, they're like, you call your Nikes, right? No, seriously. But it's an iconic, like, leave it, like, whatever, man.
But when you see that swoosh, you know exactly what it is.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm not, Kayvon can do whatever he wants with this company that he's financially responsible for. I got nothing to do with it. But I'm just saying, to me, I wouldn't change it.
We'll take Auburn football in their jerzeys.
Auburn's got all kinds of other problems, all right? Because I don't know if your War Eagles.
No, we're not going to go there.
Oh, I'm just saying.
There's stories behind that, but the jerseys, if they change the font size on their jerseys, people throw up in arms, chaos, everything. But the jerseys are still this. You wouldn't know it unless you looked at it and you were an Auburn historian to know that they changed the jersey.
Right.
But people will get up in arms and get crazy about it. And I just look at all of this as it's insanity. It's dumb. You know, if you want to change the logo, change the logo. Chances are most of these companies, they change their logos because they want you to buy more merch because you're going to buy the new logo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've already got the old logo.
Yeah.
And they still affiliate themselves with the old logo because they have it.
Or you can make all your customer base mad because they like the old logo, and then you're gonna have to. I'm just saying, but you know.
Well,
So Eric has given us a history lesson on this Maverick bar, and I don't want to ignore. I don't want. All right, I'm not saying the name again, but this Maverick bar, right? He said the bar was developed like 3 years ago. Rep wanted it. Gordon said no. Okay, now the company is basically defunct. After his daughter died, he gave up on the business, and I'm all right. And he said they used to text back years ago. He said I should reach out to him again. And JB said he's the guy that did the Titan lever arm leg press plate a few years ago. Apparently, this guy is also a children's book author, and he did do the leg press. Titan swiped it, and he threatened to sue him, so they gave him royalties. And he had a smaller accessory rack called the Evol D that was killer concept, just never really caught on. And Jared wants to make sure we know that although he loves bells of steel, he's in ownership of 0 kettlebells.
I own 0 kettlebells.
Yeah. I've got, so I'm like, well, you know, you guys know I'm kind of like all over the place. Like I like to do stuff that whatever's interesting to me at the time. So I've got kettlebells, barbells, dumbbells, all kinds of different things. Like, cause to me it's like, I don't even mind having something that does the same thing as something else in terms of, let's say I want to do a shoulder press. Do I do it with a bar, with an axle bar, with a kettlebell, with a dumbbell? Or with my trap bar, because now I'm still focusing on like the training effect.
Well, and sometimes variety is what makes you want to do something. Yeah,
you get like earlier this week we're talking about the caffeine thing. I was like, I don't feel like lifting, but that ROM pad showed up. I was like, oh nope, let's go. Went downstairs and I used it. Yeah. And
then you got to look at, do I want to use dumbbells? Do I want to use a bar? Do I want to use the tower? You know, variety is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing in the fact that sometimes you get, shaker bottles, too many choices.
Oh yeah. Well, so the advantage I have is like, I don't walk in the gym and say, okay, well, what am I going to do today? It's like already planned out.
Yeah.
Months in advance. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that I don't leave room for, hey, let's try something. I leave room in that because again, that's part of keeping the workout fun. But yeah, I don't, because I know I have the same ADD. Like, hey, oh well, let's do that, or should I do that, or should I do that? And that's another time waster.
You can also see, okay, I need to do shoulder press today, and my workout says I need to use the barbell. I really don't feel like getting a bar out today, so I'm just going to go do dumbbells instead. The stimulus is not radically different, but it's the ability to be able to flex around, but you're still doing the same exercise.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but so it depends on if this is like the main lift of the day, or if it's an accessory. I guess I should have said that. So if it's like an assistance movement, like a secondary movement, then I'm more likely to say, okay, do I want to use barbell, dumbbells, whatever. I may have written out, let's say, barbell curls and say, I'm just going to use dumbbells instead because I don't feel like getting the bar out. That's usually where it happens. But if it's like the main lift, that doesn't get tampered with because I normally have like a goal I'm working towards in that lift. And so like I'm repetition.
But I mean, some days, like you said, let's take curls. I don't feel like going over and messing with my power blocks, or I don't feel like loading up getting the easy curl bar out. I can grab the curl attachment, clip it onto my tower, and I'm good to go because I've already got the right amount of weight just on there.
Right.
That's the advantage of having those luxury items of the choices.
So one thing I want to say, we already kind of talked about the GetRx Phoenix. You talked about how it was too tall. Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that they took some feedback from Adrian and Winnie Gluck, and apparently they improved it with that. I know that because they tagged me in a video in a story where they linked to a post from Gluck that I guess had some of the feedback in it, and so I like it. I bring that up to say I like it when companies listen.
Mm-hmm.
You spend a lot of, we were talking about earlier about whether or not you let companies see the video. If you do a review, whether you let them see the video first. And I'm an advocate for letting them see the video first, because that can avoid mistakes down the road. But also, I think it gives them a chance to get the feedback and be able to respond to it if they, ahead of time. Because one of the other things I do is, it's kind of a tangent, but it's okay, is when I do a review, I also ask every company I do a review with to go on the video and respond to the comments. Because there's sometimes there are questions that I can't easily answer. Sometimes it's like a research thing, but it's still better answered in a lot of cases by the people who made the thing that, the video is about. And I see too much of, I realize that to a certain extent, this is like a cult of personality with the reviews and stuff and the reviewers, but I see too much of people coming to ask me, I can't speak for anybody else. I see too much of people coming to ask me a question about a piece of equipment that either is better answered by the company or that they could look up themselves. Because like to me, making the video is like a teaser to let you know it's out there. Hey, this is a whatever. Now, if you're going to ask me like, hey, how did you like it when you bench press with it? To, what, that's fine. Obviously, that's personal to me. I can tell you. But I got people who are like, I wonder if this would fit in my house. I don't even know what, I'm serious. I'm like, come on, man. I'm not making this up. That actually happened to Carlos in one of his videos that he did on our channel. They're like, I was like, I wonder if this would fit in my garage. I'm like, how would I know?
You can say, go to the website, look at the dimensions, grab a tape measure, and figure it out.
I'm like, because then, okay, so let's say I want to go with kind of like humor him, right? My next question is going to be like, well, how tall are your ceilings? So he's still got to measure it anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm like, seriously, what? You seriously just asked me if something that I don't potentially, I may not even have anymore, because that's the other one. Like, you might not get the question until like 3 years after you got rid of the thing, right? And he like, well, something I don't have anymore, how's that going to fit in your house that I've never visited? All right, cool. Yeah, no problem. All right, so let's move on. By the way, I was able to close those magnetic clamp collars. I was the bells of steel magnetic clamp collars we talked about. I said like that's the first one I have been able to close with just one hand. I wonder, did I do this? Yes, I did do it. Here you go. So I'm not sure we need to cut this down. All right. So there you go. That's just from this morning. All right. So I got it on there. This is what I have to do to close it. And I wish that I should have moved the Osmo, but because the sleeve spins, I'm like, this is not, I'm so not interested in doing it. But I was like, I told him I could only do it with one hand. Then you said, I mean, it didn't seem like it was that hard to close. I'm like, what? I was like,
I have a set of those.
Head on back downstairs. So I'm like, hold on a second. I know I can do this with one hand. It's just annoying. Anyway.
The ones that I own a set, and they are, in my opinion, the most dangerous the most dangerous collars I've ever seen are the old,
really? Why is that?
The old Oso ones, because when they close, they have so much spring tension in them. When you flip them up, you flip them with like one finger, and then you have to get your hand out of the way. Otherwise, you're going to get smacked with them. Yeah,
I've got a set of the Oso. I actually have a set of the Oso regular collars like you're talking about, but then I also have I've got the axle collars. And those are still the collars I use for my axle bar. And yeah, yeah.
Those were pre-Rogue buying them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I got the axle collars after Rogue bought them, and I got the gray aluminum, whatever they call them, like whatever. I got those before Rogue bought them. So yeah, okay. Now let's see here. You want to talk about the ROM pad a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We got about 30 minutes. We already talked about Fringe Sport, Midas Touch, because I figure you're not. I do want to touch on this treadmill thing, and then I also have another one. Did I send you the one about Peloton? Is kind of going to residential building market.
Yeah, you sent me that.
All right, so let's talk about the Admat ROM pad, and then we can just see what we have time left for. All right, and part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I want to shout out Eric Eccles. So my ROM pad has arrived. I did the video that you saw, and it is in the members only section. What's interesting to me about that is so it's in the, I say it's in the members only section, and I'll send it to somebody because sometimes I can't remember like if somebody's a channel member or not, and I just send it and say, "Oh, check this out," and because I think it's something they'd be interested in, and they're like, "Oh, it says I can't access it. I have to become a member," and I'm like, "Okay, it's literally less than $1, man." I'm like, "Yeah," people who are like, I don't know if I can." I'm like, "Come on, man, it's less than $1." You're telling me. Like to me, I'm just like, all right, so then it's not that interesting to you. And I do have people say, well, can you just make it public? And I'm like, really?
No, because
I'm like, really? You don't have $1?
Well, I'm fighting this right now on my channel because I have a Patreon account for members only stuff, and there's a lot of amazing content I've recorded behind the paywall. Yeah, and I've thought about. Some people ask me about some stuff and I'm like, oh, we talked about this, like the caffeine stuff that's behind the paywall. Right. But I'm like, do I want to share this with people? No, because that's something I did extra. That's something that I had with my guests to provide their expertise. So I'm not about to just give it away for free because I'm giving away enough for free already.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, this, and it's literally 99. I mean, I don't know what your Patreon is, but I know it's not going to be. It's not like $100 a month.
It's $5.
So I'm like, yeah,
$5 a month.
I'm like, seriously, it's $1. It's $1, man. Come, relax. Come on, man. You telling me you ain't got $1? It's like it's kind of like, let's say you signed up for it, and it's just the psychology of it. Because again, people view YouTube as free, but. And I am grateful for everybody, you included, who are channel members, right? But I'm like, look, I remember when I said my goal is to get 1,000 people to be channel members. I still couldn't like retire and live on $1,000 a month, right? But the goal is 1,000 people to be channel members. But and I said, for me to do that, I want to make it so. It's like I want to make it accessible, people. Let's put it at the lowest amount that YouTube would let me set it for, right? And it's 99 cents. And I was like, there's no way this is going to be an issue. But it's hilarious to me how many people are like, yeah, well, I just don't. I'm like, seriously? So,
well,
anyway.
It comes down to, I will be the first person to say I watched YouTube for free, skipped ads, did all that stuff, started my own content, started to figure out, oh, this costs a lot of money, time, and effort to do. Right. And then it was a difficult decision to think about, how do I monetize the show to be able to help pay for everything that I'm paying for,
and to do a good job at it.
Well, it's not just what am I doing to monetize, it's what am I doing to provide value for that money. Right. Because you use StreamYard. That's not free. I use a different platform. It's not free. My equipment. Yeah, there's an initial investment involved and all that, but as you get more followers, production quality is expected to be better. You can only say, I'm new at this for so long before people are laughing at you going, why is your picture?
They'll talk trash about how you mess this up and mess that up. And like, yeah, man, do I pay the rent? Do I, or do I buy a new camera? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it just comes down to, it's the time and effort involved of doing all of this content creation, because for every, I don't know what your production time is, but for every episode I make, I spend an hour in post-production of just editing, cleaning up the show, getting all that stuff done. Then we got the shorts. Then we got all the promotional material. And we haven't even talked about how the prep works and chasing down guests and working with their schedules and all that. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into this stuff.
Yep.
It's not just point, shoot, and you're done.
Not just turning the camera on.
Yeah. And if you're a one take wonder and you're that good, there's still editing involved afterwards, because you're not getting it right from, hey, my name is Trevor, to, and then we're out. And that's all you got. You've still got editing after that.
So it's funny to me, like you're talking about the guests, right? So I spent a lot of time reaching out to people. Sometimes I never get an answer. Sometimes like all right. So right now I have 5 different guests. We got people from Australia, a few people, somebody from Brazil. So I bring that up because of time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like scheduling to get the time zone right. So I'm like, usually I say, hey, look, just take the calendar or whatever.
Yep.
And we'll figure it out. But then there are people in America who are like, oh, can we record it at a different time? I'm like, well, it's kind of a live show. So no, it's like, I've had people ask me if they could pre-record their segment and I just run it during the show. I'm like, that's not going to work. It's a live show. I've tried the premiere thing where it's pre-recorded and I go on there and I'm answering questions, responding. People don't respond well to that. So I'm already taking a hit in terms of who will come on the show because of the time that it's on. But it's also the time that I would say works the best, because if you have a show, especially like mine, on later in the day, you have to be, I see the numbers drop off as people start having to work.
Yeah.
Right. So you either have, to me, a pre-recorded show is great if you're going to run it like later on in the day. But for a live show, I'm sorry, man, but most people aren't going to be able to tune into a live show during the day because they got other stuff to do. You know, there's a reason why radio is losing listenership. It's becoming less popular.
I mean, look at Jake and, Jake. I'm not trying to throw shade at Jake, but he has his live show every Tuesday at 9:30.
Yeah.
I am not at 9:30. I'm usually doing a ton of other things. It's not top of mind to tune into weekly Neural News, but I enjoy listening to it. I just listen to it later.
As a replay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Is like, it's like a tough.
And when it's not a guest show, it's just you and your co-host. You can do it live whenever their time suits. Yeah. Like I've had people from all over the world on my show, and one of the things I always tell them is it's pre-recorded, so we can do it whenever it's convenient. But I'm booking guests out. Like I just booked a guest for mid-November.
Yeah.
And she's in Australia.
Yep. Well, and so that's kind of like why I like the guests from other countries, because sometimes like it just fits with their time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, this is a cool time for me. Like, it's perfect. But then again, they're coming home, you think about it's like 7 p.m. Okay. Some of the stuff people want to talk to you from their office. Well, it's 7 p.m. They're not going to sit in the office, till 7 o'clock at night just to talk to you. So it's a, it's a balancing act. And I just say all that to say that part of what will attract people to come be on a show like this, or like a show or a podcast like yours, is, like you said, the quality. Well, the quality is supported by people, doing things like becoming channel members, right? JB said it's a great $1 spent. I like going through the backlog of members-only videos too. Man, I appreciate it. Like I said, I know that there are people who are channel members who check out the stuff, and like you were saying to me one time, like you've discovered a video that had been in there forever.
Yeah, for like 3 years about search optimization.
Yeah,
and that's the funny thing is I'll scroll through my feed on YouTube, because every night I go to bed, before I go to bed, I'm watching YouTube for about half an hour to wind down, and I see members only videos from the channel, and I'll look at
this channel.
Like, from your channel.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'll be like, oh, that's 2 years old.
Yeah, it's like it's in there, but I think sometimes too, when you have a lot of stuff in your catalog, it becomes intimidating, because people then look at it like it's kind of like watching a Netflix show and you're binging it. You're like, oh, there's so many episodes. Now it feels like a homework assignment. And I'm just like, nah, watch it when you feel like watching it, one episode at a time. So,
but that catalog is also powerful in the fact that I found that shaker bottle comparison you did probably, what was it, a year or two ago?
Yeah.
And it was just as relevant now as it was then.
Yeah. I do like to make a lot of evergreen stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and that's, some of that is just because of having been a home gym owner for so long. I've seen so many things, like just the cyclical nature of what's popular or whatever. Yeah, the brands may change or whatever, but I'm less likely to jump on like fads, you know.
Well, I'm big on LinkedIn, and one of the things people talk about is, you know, everyone's like talking about how you get engagement, how do you get followers, how do you do this, how do you do that? These are the tricks. Listen to these people.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly commenting, if you're chasing what's new now, by the time you catch up, you're already behind, because whatever you finally catch on to is popular.
Yeah.
By the time you're good at it, everyone's moved on to something else. So do your own thing, and then you don't have to worry about being caught by the fad. And eventually what you do will be the fad, and you'll get caught up in it.
Yeah. You don't want to be the handle of the spear. You know what I mean?
Well,
don't be the handle of the spear.
You're going to be eventually. It's going to go all the way around in a cycle, just like everything does.
So Eric said that he just sent the prototype picture he got from Gordon for the Bells of Steel version of the Maverick. So let's go look at it. I told y'all, when I tell you that Eric sees all this stuff, he knows everything. People don't believe me. The dude is a sleeper agent. All right. But I'll go ahead and let me take this out of here. All right. So now let me show. So this is from I'm assuming that you're okay with me showing this, Eric, because you just told me during the show that you sent it. So, all right. So this is the Bells of Steel version of the Maverick. This will be the prototype for it. So let's check that out. Okay. I see a few differences. I can see that hip thrust pad is still there in the middle. I see the handles. I guess they rotate up. Yeah, you probably pull that pop pin and rotate the handle up so that you can use it for pressing, or for not pressing, for deadlifts. And to your point about how long it takes to adjust things, if you want to do that sumo deadlift thing that they were doing, I can see it would probably take you a little bit of time, maybe not a tremendous amount of time, but you'd have to move the pad out of the way and then slide the handles in. So you have to take them out and move them in and then secure them back down again.
Sometimes 30 seconds can be just as long as 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're running out of time, it's kind of like, you know.
Or you're just trying to move on to the next thing. You know, if you're doing hip thrusts and deadlifts with that bar, and you're not able to set up the handles for deadlifts and do hip thrusts at the same time, you do whichever one gets done first is the one that gets done, and then the next one probably gets skipped over and you do something else, because if you're just in the zone and you don't feel like adjusting it, you're not going to.
All right, so I got a confession. So we've got the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro downstairs, right? I never use that thing.
Yep.
Okay. Naomi uses it all the time. Like, if you guys watch her vlog, you'll see her using it at least 2-3 times a week, right? And when she goes and she's like adjusting stuff and taking attachments off, putting them on. I mean, it's like that, right? Meanwhile, to me, I'm like, man, that's so much work. And I'm only going to use it for one thing. And I'm just like, do I want to get Optimus Prime down today? Oh, God, I don't know if I want to do that.
That's why I haven't looked into one, or I haven't seriously looked at one of those, is because I'm sure everybody says, oh, it's so simple once you get it down.
Yeah.
But
literally, I mean, she does it like in seconds.
But do I want to invest that time to get it down, to get it working?
Yeah. Now she's like, oh yeah. I mean, like, I can literally watch her do it. In fact, I should do a video and time her changing from one thing to the next, because that just shows how lame I am, and that I just refuse to dedicate the seconds that it takes to swap it around. I'm just horrible.
So I want to talk about
Eric. That'd be awesome, man. I would love to have him on, and I appreciate you. This Eric is always like lining up guests for me, and 100%, man. And like I said, I want to say with the ROM pad, which we're technically still be talking about now, Eric is the one who put me on to this specific product. Jared is the one that kind of let me know that this stuff was out there, because there was another product that was out there, but it was overseas.
I saw it at Jared's house.
Shout out to Jared. So it's a shout out to Jared and shout out to Eric, because that's like the power of the live chat. You guys tell me. I don't know. I never assume that I'm the one that knows everything. I love the fact that you guys give info that that's helpful to me and to other people. Now, talk about Home Gym Con. Go ahead.
So, Home Gym Con, it was different for me than most. And I say that because my show is about project management and how things go from concept to reality.
Right.
So when I was going around talking to some of the vendors there and CEOs and people like that, I would tell them, I don't care about the specs of your product. I don't want to talk about the minutia of the 3x3 and what gauge steel it is. I want to talk about how did it get to from your head to standing in front of me. And more people said, yes, I want to talk about that than didn't.
Okay.
You know, I have, that's how I got Isaac from Anchor on the show. I'm not going to disclose them yet because they're still in discussions, but I've had other CEOs that were at Home Gym Con that agreed to come on, and I'm working out scheduling with them because it's not, my goal is to not have the same conversations that every other influencer has with them.
Right.
It's
which also can get old for somebody to be like, okay, I'm going to come on here and talk about the exact same thing over. Yeah. That's
like me and Isaac, we talked about how it went from his garage to warehouse space and the logistics of needing to figure out how does he package this. And then not only how does he package it, but how does he store all those boxes he has to buy and all that packaging for the product? Because I remember, because I was working for I was an e-commerce manager for a small company, and my boss went up to me and said, I want boxes and bags with our brand on them. So I had to go out and source how to go buy boxes. You can't buy custom monogram boxes in less than quantities of 1,000. Do you know how much space 1,000 boxes flat takes up in 3 different sizes in a warehouse? And then you talk about internal packaging. You know, a lot of people complain about packaging and everything else of the products, but what you don't think about is where does all this stuff get stored? Where does it come from? How does it work?
Right.
And I'm not defending companies that don't do good packaging, but that was just one of those things me and Isaac talked about that nobody else had ever asked him.
Right. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy your show, though, is because you do, and if anybody watching this, like I said, we are on LinkedIn, so anybody watching this who's with a brand who's interested in going on the Disgruntled PM, you can reach out to Trevor here on LinkedIn. You can also reach out to him through his email address, which is available if you go to his YouTube channel. But that's one of the things that makes this show attractive, is because you allow the guest to help you create a roadmap for anybody else who wants to follow in their footsteps. Like, hey, this is how, what used to annoy me you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
It used to annoy me. It probably still annoys me too. I just don't allow myself to think about it as much. Whenever you watch those YouTube videos on how to grow, the person who's telling you how to grow has only, their entire YouTube channel is based around how to grow on YouTube. Right. So then they don't have a channel. They don't have like a channel that was about something else that they grew. And then they said, I grew this channel about this. And now I'm going to tell you how I grew that channel that was about this, using, like, these are some universal principles. Right. Instead, it's my entire focus is on how to grow on YouTube. And so obviously I'm going to get a lot of followers and subscribers, because people are always interested in how to grow on YouTube. So to me, it's like fluff. Your show is like, these are people who actually built a business, built something, and they're telling you how they built that actual thing. You know what I mean? So it's concrete real world experience.
I say I bring on the experts in their industry and let them talk about what they're experts on, because, I've had guests that run the gambit. Like I said, we started off this with my guest she was the Dr. Leah Kaler. She's a sleep psychologist for the FBI.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to learn about why sleep is killing you?
Right. Right.
Those, and it's all related back to project management in a loose framework, but it's not, there are guests that are project managers, and that's what we talk about because that's what I know.
Right.
But I also let the guests talk about what they're experts about, because if I just want to bring on people that talk about what I know about, it's going to be a really boring show.
Yeah. You brought up Home Gym Con, so let's talk
Yeah.
about it, because I gave some recommendations for improving Home Gym Con, and I gave a recommendation about what I thought would help local people. But since I don't live locally, I think it's good to circle back around and see what you think of it. So
Before we get there, I will say this out loud. Jake is coming on the show.
okay.
He's committed to it, and now
Okay.
he's really committed to it. But I told him when I was at Home Gym Con, I told him, I've heard stories of how you built Home Gym Con from the ground up, but I've heard them in bits and pieces. I've never heard one sitting where you tell the whole story from start to finish of where we are now. Okay. And I want to capture that. And he said, absolutely, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
And
that'll be a good, interesting show. Yeah, because the stories are awesome.
Because what I want to do is I want to capture, how do you we all go to conventions and we all see the massive ones and everything else, but they all start somewhere.
Yep.
And you don't ever get to talk to the people that started them, because by the time they're big, they're company owned, they're commercialized, and a lot of the flavor of what created them is gone.
Right.
So getting Jake on to talk about how he went from, I have an idea of this, to what it is in year 4 with exponential growth is going to be incredible. I don't care if you care about the topic, just the topic of Home Gym Con, the concept of how conventions get started is where that is.
I think that'll be interesting. Like I said, I've heard some of the stories from Kyle, from Jake, and it's interesting. Even like some of the reasons, when you find out the reasons behind like why we were in French Lick and for 2 years straight, all that kind of stuff. I highly encourage people to check out that episode.
It's not out yet. It hasn't even been recorded. I'm still working with Jake on timeline because we want to release it. We want to release it in hype for year 4.
Okay. That's even good. That's even better.
But that's coming. It's just, me and Jake have talked about it, and I want to give the time to make sure that we capture as much as we can of year 4 prep, but also give it lead time to help for promotion.
Makes sense. Eric said he's most interested in hearing the difficulty of scaling it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, it's interesting because you also have your early adopters who are going to buy in. They're going to help you drive the success of the event. They're also going to, then you also have to kind of like filter out ideas, because everybody's going to have an idea for how you should run the thing that you pay for. It's like, how do I listen to some? How do I ignore some?
I told Jake this idea at Home Gym Con for future years, because influencers are a big deal in the space. And one of the things I will say is there was not one influencer that disappointed me when I met them. Every single one of them that I would patiently wait. Since I was there for setup, I got to see a lot of them early, but every single person I approached, hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. It was exactly what you would hope it would be. Mm-hmm. But I also heard a lot of people, influencers too, saying people were grabbing me at the wrong time. And I told Jake what he should do is have a table set up with rotating influencers at that table where they just do an hour of meet and greet. And then he puts it out. If you see these people, let them work. This is your meet and greet time over here. And it tongue in cheek almost makes the influencers like a sideshow character too. but it gives the availability. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking about Dunk Tank when you said
but that. I mean, it gives the availability of the influencers for the audience. And then that also helps people plan their day around, oh, I want to go get a picture with John. Right. So now I know John's available. I'm not going to grab him on the floor while he's recording.
I can see that. So for me, it's like, having been to the Arnold multiple times, I'm not about to stand in line and meet anybody. You know what I mean?
Well, you're not, but you're also not the target audience for that.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, so I don't want to say I feel uncomfortable on a pedestal, but it kind of like some of what Home Gym Con. I'm not telling you that your idea is a bad idea. What I'm saying is that some of what I love about Home Gym Con was the community feeling, like where everybody was kind of like, we all okay. it didn't matter if you got 20 subscribers or you don't even have a YouTube channel. We all get treated the same.
There was,
nobody's like
one
standing
person.
apart or whatever. And I love that feeling. You know what I mean?
Well, there was one person running around. I think I might have been standing with Kyle and talking to him over at the Fringe booth. And we looked at the guy. It might have been, it was either Kyle or PJ from Design Build Lift, but somebody. And these guys in luchador masks were running around with the GoPro, with the selfie stick.
Yeah.
And I said something to him about, that is the strangest thing I've seen. I wonder what channel. I've never seen a channel with luchadors in the home gym space.
I'm like, well, okay.
And he's like, hey, what channel are you guys with? And pulls him over and talks to him. And I'm just like, people are intimidated by the people that they watch on YouTube in a lot of cases. I'm not personally. And part of the reason is a conversation me and you had where you told me, if you see me and you recognize me, say hi. Say hi, because that shows you know who I am. And I've experienced that on a very small scale through my show, because I'm doing tons of promotion on LinkedIn, because that's where my audience is. And I had an interaction with someone where I was chatting with them in private messages about something. And then she was like, oh, snap, you're Trevor from that show.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, you and your former co-host. I say his name like I know him. I'm like, yeah, he's a great guy, but it was just that shock factor of some people recognizing you, and some people are going to be too afraid to come and talk to you because they don't realize that you're just John. You're just John, but to them, you're John on YouTube.
Yeah.
And since you told me that, like, I'm at Home Gym Con, I had no shame about approaching people I recognize to say, hey, I recognize you and I enjoy your content.
And we all appreciate it because we're like, oh, yeah, cool. Hey, man, hey, can y'all take a picture with me? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because if you want to, sure.
Because think about it like this, that for every one person that does that, there's probably 10 that see you and are just afraid. And that's why I say that if you set up that table and you put the social media people over there at the table for just an hour a day, that could cut down on 50 people interrupting your shoot.
I can see that.
It's not an exclusive thing, but just an idea of giving them availability to their favorite influencers in an easy to approach way for them, because you look at it as you're just John, no big deal.
I mean, I'm amazingly handsome, but don't let that intimidate you.
But there are plenty of people that they would see you, Kyle, Rob from Vintage Weights, all those different people, and they might they might be afraid to come up and talk to you because you're John from YouTube. You've got 60,000 followers, and you're sitting there going, Kyle's got 100, or whatever it may be. And it's a constant game that we're all playing with each other, but we're also not realizing that every one of us that's out there, that puts ourselves out there, people watch our stuff and they know who we are in some way, shape, or form. And if they're not, and if a person is not willing to be putting themselves on the limb of, is he the person he is on YouTube, or is he a jerk? Because there are plenty of people that LinkedIn is notorious for that. There are plenty of people that they put a great facade up of their profile and everything else. And then behind the scenes, all their reputations are the exact opposite.
Yeah. So while you say that, we have people inviting people to hug each other in the chat. So Home Gym Hub said, that's what I love about this community, is everybody knows everybody in the comments, and Home Gym Con is like a family reunion, which is exactly what Naomi and I always call it. And Jared says, Home Gym Hub, you better come give me a hug when I see you at Home Gym Con 2026. So I know you got to get out of here. You got a hard out. But JB has a question. Yeah. He said, are you suggesting all influencers go to one booth at the same time?
No,
I think you're trying to say that you signed up for a slot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a schedule, and then that's also put out in advance of the show. So if you are that timid person that wants to get a picture, like I met Gluck at the Mixer.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I recognize you. He's like, hey, I'm Adrian. you know.
Yeah.
And
Like,
and he was just, hey, you know,
hey, how you doing? Yeah.
I still talk to half the people that half the influencers I met there through Instagram or different channels just because I met them and I talked to them. And it's just that ability to be able to say, and to take that approach of, people are intimidated by personalities that they watch.
I guess.
So I'm just trying to throw that out there as a way to minimize people bothering you while you're trying to work,
Sure.
and also take the intimidation factor away of approaching you while you're trying to work.
I mean, I think it's a so Letha says, I'm taking all the pics at Home Gym Con this year. Hey, come on. Like, I'm available. If you want to come take a picture of me, sure. The only thing I say is, like, that really only, I don't know, like, I'm not saying that it could never happen. We haven't had huge amounts of issues with that because, like, for the most part during Home Gym Con, you see, like, we're moving like at light speed. Naomi and I, we're going from one thing to the next. And I also think that Jake having the content creator only sessions this coming year are going to help out as well. So that if you decide to shoot something outside of that time, you're saying, hey, I'm available. Stop, talk to me, whatever, right? But then also, I like doing those segments like I did with Bells of Steel, where I'm stopping you, like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I want to do the thing or whatever. Yeah. And, you know, because I talked to you a little bit before, then we do the segment, then we talk a little bit afterward. So that was honestly a lot of fun this year. But if anybody takes anything away from this, I'm like, please, for God's sakes, don't put me on a pedestal, okay? You know,
no, we're all, you know,
please don't. Yeah,
I say the same thing. You know, we're all just normal people.
Yeah,
we just chose to put ourselves out there on the public face.
Yeah,
for various reasons, whatever it may be, and there's nothing wrong with being public facing. The only thing I will say is that you should try to be as close to the same person public as you are in private.
Yeah.
You know, I always say I write as I speak for the most part. I write a little bit more eloquently with less profanity, but I'm also, you know, I've taken a lot of cues from my show from you and all the other content creators that I follow. And some of the stuff just is on my own because that's how you do it, is you build your own blend of what works for you.
You got to absorb what's useful, discard what's not.
Yep.
And make it uniquely your own, that's right. It is a Richard Bustillo quote about what Jikundo actually is. And that's actually the approach I take. Look, man, I'm going to let you get out of here because you said you had a hard out and you got to prepare for an interview in a couple hours. So I don't want you to leave, though, without letting people know how they can keep up with what's coming up with on your show, how they can subscribe to the show. And also, just as important, if they're a brand watching this and they're interested in coming on your show to be a guest, go ahead and let people know how they can do those things, okay?
So the Disgruntled PM podcast, it's on all major podcasting platforms, on YouTube. The best way to find me is through LinkedIn. My name, Trevor Greenberg. The Disgruntled PM podcast, I have a show page there. It should be everywhere you can find podcasts, and that's the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. I have other social media platforms, but those are more personal than public facing. And LinkedIn is where I live for public facing stuff.
Awesome. Well, and I've got that link in the video description, so you guys can go check out all of that. And I got creative. If you guys just want to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, this is the QR code for Trevor's.
Oh, look at that.
I know. I just started playing around with StreamYard and said, hey, I can do this. So there's that QR code up there for you guys. And that will take you straight to the show page on Apple Podcasts. So you can subscribe there. But yeah, go ahead. You guys go support the show. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there. You have an interview with the guys from Anchor, like you said, and that's a really interesting one. And I appreciate you coming on here, man. You're my first co-host. So there's like a trial thing. Most of my episodes are gonna be just me because most of the time the live chat is my co-host. But I thought this was a good one, and you kind of bailed me out as well too. So it actually turned into a really cool episode. So I appreciate you being willing to come on here and help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know.
Yeah, man. All right, take it easy, Trevor.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, John. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, so that's Trevor still without a dedicated shaker bottle that works. And I had to wait till I said so. He's still backstage. I just said that because I wanted to see him laughing. That's how you do it. You throw shade when they're gone and they can't say anything back. I got to mute it. It's too late. Anyway. I do know what the Home Gym Hub looks like. So apparently he said, he's going to be giving out free hugs next year at Home Gym Con. So everybody, if you're interested in that opportunity, feel free to take advantage of it. I think you need to make a shirt that says Home Gym Hub, or you can also make a shirt that says free hugs. Either one, and then we'll know who you are, and people can take advantage of that. So we got a few things that we want to talk about that we didn't get to. So I'm going to go back to the Admat ROM pad, range of motion pad, because that's where we were. And then we wanted to make sure that we didn't run out of time with Trevor. So as I said, shout out to Eric for mentioning this when I mentioned on the show that I was having this issue, right? So the unboxing video with my first impressions is available in the members only section of the channel. Let me go ahead. I'm not going to play the entire video, obviously, but you guys kind of get an idea of what it is. So the unboxing part is kind of like self-explanatory. There's the box. It shows up like that. It's actually very well packaged. And there I am with the Garage Gym knife. And then this is what it looks like. I did answer your question, by the way, Jared. I put the dimensions in the comment. I updated my comment, basically. I edited my comment and updated it. So the dimensions of the pad are in there. And so you guys can see how I installed it. And then what I ended up doing is using it for flies. There I am explaining. So a lot of this is explaining. Oh, well, you didn't even get to see me use it. Hold up. Back up. So right there, my back popped. Actually, when I first lay down to use it, my back popped on the when I was doing it, and it was a I said, oh, this is a I was like, this is a what you call there. And I was like, this works. This is a good, like, I felt validated for purchasing it, right? And I know that Rob from Vintage Weight says he just used his ROM pad yesterday, had a really good first impression. He thinks it's well made and useful. So a fair number of people have already watched the video. So like Jake from Garage Room Radio actually watched it, and he said that he thought it looked solid. And I'm telling you that this is hands down one of my favorite purchases this year. I think it's going to pay dividends. And I plan to use it for many, many, many years to come. Let's see here. Hey, you know what? I'm not mad at you. Eric said if anyone's buying their ROM pad, don't forget to add some Saxon grips. Help Eric out. That way, get him some coins. But yeah, dude, I'm glad that you put me onto that, because that product is solving the problem as we speak. So I really like that. JB said, I just learned you need to click the creators link to get them their affiliate commission when buying through Admat. So I used Carp and got my discount, but he didn't get commission. That is correct. That's why we all say use our link. There's a link in the description. Use our affiliate link. I even have let's go right here. So okay, so this is the Bells of Steel link, my QR code link for Bells of Steel. So if you guys go click on that, you go there, you can take advantage of any discount they have at the time, but that's going to give us credit for sending you to their website. So yes, and I appreciate you even bringing that up, JB, because like I said, a lot of people will actually do the opposite. They will go out of their way to not use a creator's link for whatever reason. And I'm like, I don't even understand that. First of all, I don't understand that attitude, right? I can see if you just forget to use the link, but if you found out about a product because somebody's told you about it, or you watched somebody's video about it, like what sort of negative, I'm trying to like guard my tongue. What kind of person is so ungrateful that they're like, you know what? I'll show him. I just want, or her, I won't use their link. I'm like, what's wrong with your life that you even think that way? I don't get it. Right. I'm just not wired that way. So anyway, so I've used the ROM pad for essentially for flies, for stretching in general. But after talking to Jared Martin, I am considering, I thought about using it for incline benching, but now I'm thinking about using it for maybe some dumbbell benching as well. It'd have to be high rep though, because I don't have heavy dumbbells. Like the heaviest I have are 80s. And so I would end up having to use them for higher reps. That's probably going to be good for me anyway. Just, sets of 12, 15 or whatever, because, it's good for hypertrophy. And the pad will probably come in clutch 4 sets that are that in that repetition range, because my scapula will be able to move. That's the beauty of the pad. It allows your scapula to move freely. Go ahead and just in case anybody isn't familiar with it. So Letha, in fact, I would tell you, if you want to get this ROM pad to use with your clients, they'll probably end up enjoying it. They'll probably end up liking it a whole lot. So you can see, like, that's how you're supposed to use it. And it literally makes a big difference, because you're able to just kind of fold your spine around the pad, and it's made of a nice material too, so it feels great. Really durable feeling, and it's nice and lightweight. So there you go. I don't use it for flat benching just because I try to keep my flat bench as close to competition as possible. But for any other kind of pressing movement, I'm going to use it for that. And to me, it is well worth $40. I had one person in the comments say, like, that may not be enough for them if you're only using it for like flies. But to me, flies, and now I said pressing, so that to me is well worth it. Because it's not like I'm buying an entire bench, right? Because I considered like the ATX bench. ATX has a bench that's narrower, and I said, oh, that'd be perfect for this, right? I mean, but it's also expensive. This is $40, man. You literally could spend this at McDonald's. You can spend $40 at McDonald's. I don't recommend you do so if you buy yourself, but you could easily spend $40 at McDonald's, and by this time next year, you won't even remember that meal. Okay, this product has the potential to save your shoulders and accelerate your chest development for years to come. It's like, I don't see, to me, it's 100%. I mean, I think it's 100% worth the money. Letha says, awesome, I'll check that out. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think you'll like it. My brother says, with the stretch you're going to get out of it, the way you have is the weight you have is probably going to be more than enough. I mean, I'm definitely not going to be doing flies with 80 pounds, but I'm saying, like, with that stretch, the 80s might be enough. Especially if I slow down, like, I'm thinking of ways to make it work now, right? Slow down the repetition, just like kind of like squeeze at the top and all that. So yeah, we'll probably make it work. Yes, the ATX Warrior Slim Bench. That's the bench I was talking about, Eric. I really liked it when I used it at Home Gym Con, and that was actually my favorite bench of theirs that I got a chance to play with. Trevor, we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but he has ordered one. He's waiting for his to arrive. So I'm looking forward to finding out what he uses his for. All right, let's move on. Got a couple minutes. All right, so I'm determined to talk about this because I've had it on my rundown for 3 weeks and I keep running out of time. So I'm talking about it today. A man's got to make a stand, and today I'm making a stand. We're going to talk about how walking is harder on your treadmill than running. All right, so this is actually an article I first saw on LinkedIn, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. The links to everything that we refer to are going to be in the video description. So if you guys are watching on replay, first of all, shout out to the replay gang. But if you're watching on replay, the links to everything I'm talking about, including this article, are going to be in the video description, so you can check them out for yourself. All the products I mentioned are in the video description. If they're part of the YouTube shopping ecosystem, you can click that shopping button and go check it out as well. All right. So the thing with a treadmill, right, is, and this isn't a long spiel, but it's just something that a lot of people don't think about. If you have a motorized treadmill, the motor in the treadmill works harder the more resistance it has. That resistance comes from your body weight on the belt. So if you're walking, your body weight is on the belt longer than if you're running, because if you're running, your body leaves the ground, right? So basically your feet spend more time in contact with the belt when you're walking, which creates drag. So this is one of those things that you kind of should know, but you don't really think about it, so you don't know. Well, that drag makes your motor work harder to keep the belt moving at the correct speed. So, and they've got a thing here. Let me go ahead and I'll share this because I have a point to make here. So they said, like, if you're looking at actual gait mechanics, each foot spends about 60% of its step cycle in the stance phase on a belt. The remaining 40% is the swing phase. So basically, 60% of the time when you're walking, your foot is on the ground. The remaining 40%, your foot's in the air. And during walking, there's no flight phase, which is what I was talking about with running. Part of the time, you're off the ground, right? And so basically, there's a lot more resistance when you're walking compared to running. Running, there's less friction, which means that the belt doesn't have to work as hard. Yes, there's greater impact because you're going up and down, but there's not as much friction. All right. And so the motor on your belt is going to work harder if you're walking. What does that mean for you? I know some of you guys periodically, you're like, oh, I want to buy a treadmill. And the temptation is to just go buy something cheap from Amazon because you're like, because we spend a ton of money on bars and random things because of the knurling and whatever. But then it's like, oh, let's get a treadmill, something that you really didn't want to buy anyway. But you're like, oh, I need to get a treadmill because I need to get whatever. Okay. So you have a temptation to spend less money on it because it just doesn't have that value for you. Well, most of the time, if you're like, okay, I'm getting a treadmill, you're probably not in shape to be running, and you probably have less interest in running. So you're probably going to get on a treadmill and just walk for warm-ups, watch TV or something like that. Well, in addition to the fact that there's a lot of dust in a garage, which is where a lot of us home gym owners will put our treadmills. So that's hard on the treadmill right away. If you're walking on a treadmill, you're doing a lot more, you're putting it through a lot more work. So there's a lot more heat generated because the motor's working harder. If you're walking on your treadmill, you don't want to get a cheap treadmill from Amazon or Walmart or something like that with one of these short warranties because you're trying to save money. I also would not buy a treadmill from Facebook Marketplace, even play it against sports, because again, if you're just going to go walk on a treadmill and it's not a manual treadmill, that treadmill is going to go through a lot of wear and tear because of you walking. If you buy it used, you don't know what the previous owner did to it, right? You don't know how they maintained it. You don't know if they oiled it on time at regular intervals. You don't know if they did anything to it. So you've got the accumulated dust and whatever, cat hair, whatever's in the treadmill before of the previous owner, right? And then you get it and you put it through whatever you put it through. Right. Oh, and also sweat. So there's moisture and whatnot. So I do not, and I'm going to tell you all flat out. So we have a Spirit Fitness XT385. We've had that treadmill for about 2, maybe 3 years. I honestly can't remember how long we've had it, but I know I've had it longer than 2 years. I want to say it's 3 years. Heck, it might be more than that. Regardless, the point is we've had it for longer than 2 years. And it's a commercial grade treadmill. We spent about $1,300 and some change on it. And at the time it hurt. I was like, oh, that's a lot of money for a treadmill. I'm so glad we spent that money on it because I don't even think they've since upgraded it. But, and again, this is not sponsored, but it's lasted. And we haven't had any issues, knock on wood. You know, God has blessed us that we haven't had any issues in terms of maintenance or anything like that. It's basically just going to run until it doesn't run anymore. We're going to get rid of it. We'll buy another one that'll last 5-10 years. You don't want to get a cheap treadmill from Amazon or whatever. You spend $500 on it and that thing breaks down and you like, oh, well, it's out of, you know, the warranty is expired or whatever, right? Just don't do it. It's sort of now it's not a safety issue. Like when I tell you guys, don't buy, if you can avoid buying a power rack from Amazon, avoid buying power racks from Amazon. Because an Amazon company can just up and disappear on you overnight. And now you just there like, oh, I got a problem, I need it fixed, and they're gone, right? So don't buy anything substantial from Amazon, let's say it like that. But I wouldn't buy a treadmill from Amazon either. And again, it goes back to, this is advice I'm giving you. You know, you can ignore me if you want, but what I would do is find a local sporting goods store. If you can find like a Fitness Depot or something like that, do it. And buy a commercial grade treadmill. The reason why I said find one that's local is because I want you to try the treadmill before you buy it. That's a lot of money to just buy, right? So try the treadmill before you buy it. If you're at Home Gym Con, Stepper was there. They have different treadmills. Bells of Steel has their cardio equipment. You know, I trust Bells of Steel, but to me, you don't need to be buying a treadmill or something like that without trying it first. Because here's another thing. So the width of the belt matters. All right? The width of the belt matters. You're not going to know if the width of the belt is right for you unless you try it in person. And I'm telling you, a treadmill is probably one of the easiest things to find local. Literally, you can Google treadmill for sale, treadmills, and it'll pull up. I mean, I think Dick's Sporting Goods has treadmills too. I don't know about Dick's Sporting Goods as a place to go buy equipment like that, but whatever. But like I said, Fitness Depot, Fitness Factory Outlet, if you're around one, Play It Again Sports does have some brand new treadmills. Don't buy a used treadmill. Because you're going to be mad when you get your used treadmill home, you use it for a couple of weeks, and then you find that one of the rollers underneath is broken because a person who had it before you weighed 400 pounds and they got it to the point where it was just about to break and then they sold it. So just don't do it. Buy a brand new treadmill and make sure you try it before you buy it. That's my advice. And the only caveat I think is like, you know, those walking pad style treadmills. We actually have one. Naomi's got one in her office downstairs. There, I think you may be okay, but that's only because you're not going to be like walking on it. You're more like fidgeting. You know, you're kind of shifting position. You're not really walking on it. But anything that you're actually going to be walking on as a treadmill, buy it new. Don't buy it online. That's just what I say about that. 46 Fitness Reviews. What's going on, man? He said, treadmill is a very valuable tool. Make sure the operating system computer is fast and good. He said, mine takes 2 to 3 minutes to load or has to be rebooted. That's another 10 minutes. He said, I paid $5,000 for it. Yeah, that's no good. So again, that goes back to make sure you try it before you buy it. Look at the warranty available for it. And don't buy used. That I just hands down, don't buy used. Letha Cannon says, I need suggestions from this crew. I'm trying to be most efficient in my home gym space, but I want to add equipment without giving up my cardio equipment. Well, Letha, I mean, I want to know this is actually a really good question for when you come on the show, because to me, like, we need to get more information from you, like, because you have clients, right? So to me, it's like, well, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Like, what is it that you need to add? Like, what's the, not what the thing is that you want to add, but what's the thing you're trying to accomplish? Because the thing you're trying, same thing you tell your clients. They tell you what their goal is, and then you can program for them. Well, it's like, to me, it's like, hey, what are you trying to accomplish? That tells me what to suggest to you. Sean O'Rourke said, I bought one on Facebook, but it's a lifespan treadmill desk. Price made the risk reward worth it. One thing to note about the Amazon cheap models is that they're often really, really narrow. Yes, I'm like, do not buy a treadmill from Amazon, right? We have done videos, reviews of treadmills that are available on Amazon. And I'm just telling you, unless it's something that's like a walking pad, like what you're talking about, the treadmill desk, I would not do it. And also, I would say that men tend to have a wider gait, like just because of our width or whatever. We tend to walk wider than women do. But still, even women, I'm like, look, like when Naomi and I wanted a treadmill, we went down to the local fitness depot. They're not paying us to tell you this. I get paid nothing for this. And we went down there and we tried it. We tried the different ones they had until we found the one that we liked. And then there's another plus. They'll deliver it to your house and usually set it up for you if you buy it like that. Save your money. Don't buy a $500 one. If it takes you 3 months to save $500 to spend on it, it takes 6 months so you can spend a little bit more money. Letha said, feel free to message me directly if you have a treadmill that you can't live without. So I'm just going to tell you, Letha, our treadmill is like I said, it's the Spirit Fitness XT385. It stands up, so it doesn't take up a lot of space when we're not using it. I roll it out, use it, roll it back, fold it back up, roll it back in. So that's the one. Yes, Naomi was doing triathlons when we bought the treadmill. So it's been a minute since we got it, and I'm telling you, it's 100% worth it because it's going strong. So yeah, we've had it for a minute, man. I'm telling you, maybe we've had it for 5 years. And that's the other thing too. Like if you buy a good treadmill, you'll have it for so long you'll forget how much you paid for it. And like it's like one of those things, like the pain goes away. The pain wears off eventually, right? But if you get a cheap treadmill, you're gonna have to keep on replacing it, and you will never forget it. You will never forget it because it'll constantly annoy you. I will not forget, Letha. It'll be in the list of questions I send you. All right, so we got more stuff that was on the list to talk about, but we have run out of time once again. So let's shout out to Trevor for coming on here and helping make this successful. Make sure you guys go check out the Disgruntled PM on YouTube, or wherever you want. Like I said, I have the links so you can check them out. They're in the video description. Pick whatever platform you want to follow, subscribe to his podcast on, and it is in the video description. Next week we got a great okay, so this is actually a good comment. So Kinsey said, I'm honestly surprised my little well-fit treadmill survived my prep. Yeah, here's the thing, is like sometimes they'll surprise you, but like to me, like the fact that it surprises you is why I don't, as a habit, go seek stuff out. Instead, I'm like, I want it to be not a surprise. Like I expect for it to last long. That's the one that I buy, whatever the thing is. You know what I mean? I don't mind living a life with miracles happening all the time, but your life shouldn't need miracles to happen all the time for you to just exist, right? So what I was saying is, so next week we've got a pretty good show, an excellent show, in fact, because we've got Will Wu from X Master Fitness. He's going to be making his debut on the show. I'm excited to talk to him, especially because X Master is one of the sponsors for the Mr. Olympia this very weekend. So I'm excited to talk to him about how he started, his friendship with Basement Brandon, who is how I found out about Will, because I was at HFA and Basement Brandon like DM'd me and said, hey, you need to go check out Will Woo from my boy Will Woo from X Master. So that's how I connected with Will. So I'm excited to talk about that next week with him. We're also going to have Mike Carlson from Anchor. He's going to be coming back. He's going to be debuting a new product. And that he may have teased it, but he's coming back. He's going to debut a new product on the show next week. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Until next week, I need you guys to keep on posting your workouts in the community section. I know it's slow going, but keep on going. We want to make that grow. Also, if you guys have suggestions for Letha, go ahead and post the links to that in the community section so that she can check it out and see what the suggestions for equipment are. All right. So, and last thing I ask is just keep on sharing that channel link to help us grow. Please click the link in the video description to join the channel, become a channel member. Like I said, it's only 99 cents a month, and we appreciate all your support. Other than that, keep stacking days. All right. I got to go to the eye doctor, get my new glasses. Peace out.